All right, I think we're rolling here, folks. Started a little bit early, but that's fine. Give people some time to, get in, grab their beers, grab their snacks, get settled in for the game. We're gonna see how this goes. This is gonna be an interesting experience, to say the least. I've never done something like this before. Interesting development going on for the Hurricanes. Freddie Andersen's not even dressed tonight. We just got... It's going to be Brandon Bussey in net, and Kochekov's backing him up. So I don't know if Freddie's injured or something, or if they just really want to give him a break. I know he had a maintenance day at practice yesterday, but going to be an interesting night, to say the least. I know Brandon Bussey's got... or Bussey, I should say, correct pronunciation. It's a difficult one to get right. You read the word and you don't think twice about it. Bussey, whatever. Anyway, Brandon Bussey is starting for the Carolina Hurricanes tonight. To my knowledge, Carter Hart is back in net for the Vegas Golden Knights, and we'll see how that turns out for them. I don't know of any other lineup changes happening for either team. I don't see either team needing to change their lineup too much. It's been a pretty even series so far, and I hope that stays the case. I hope this is just as entertaining of a game as Game 3 was, if that's even possible. Game 3 was such a wild, entertaining night, I think is the right word for it. I know a lot of people used that term to describe Game 3, entertaining. The most fun hockey game to watch, the most fun Stanley Cup Final game to watch, maybe, of all time. Such drama throughout that game. But we'll see if tonight lives up to the hype, eh? So how this is going to go down, you guys have got me breaking down the action for you. We got the score bug right, there it is, right down here in the corner. I'll keep that as updated as I can. I don't have a mod, it's just me running all this. So we'll see. Like I said, we'll see how this goes. If this works out well, maybe we'll try this again for Game 5, Game 6, Game 7, as many more games as it takes, and we'll refine things out and see if we want to do it again next season. Just got a Twitter notification, Elliot Friedman. Freddie Andersen is not listed as injured. He is a scratch for tonight's game. So I don't know if that's Rod Brindamore just really wanting to change things up, get some new energy going for his boys. But we'll see if it works, because I don't know what anyone else is thinking, but the Hurricanes need to win this game. If Vegas goes up 2-1, it is not going to go... Sorry, 3-1, rather. Vegas goes up 3-1, it's not going to end well for the Hurricanes. I could see them, maybe pushing 7 at that point, but to win 3 straight, that's a tall task. So yeah, I started saying what's going to happen is I'll be here breaking down the action for you guys. I got the game in my ears and up on my screen in front of me, but obviously I can't play it because Sportsnet copyrights. Gary Bettman would show up at my house and beat me to death with hammers. And as entertaining as that would be, and as much as that would make for great content if I were to film it, I don't really want to be beat to a death with a hammer by Gary Bettman. I don't know if anybody does. Maybe George Peros could be into that, but I'm not. So I encourage everyone, if you're able to, flip on the game while you listen to me. It'll definitely make this easier experience, because I won't be able to call everything. I am no Chris Cuthbert. Very few people on the planet are Chris Cuthbert. I'm really just going to be calling out big hits, penalties, goals, keeping you guys updated on what's going on in the game. This is really just more of a chance to, hang out. Like I said, we haven't tried something like this before, and I wanted to for a while. I wanted to give it a go last season, but the channel didn't really have that following to do that at the time. And, now it does. We reached, just this past week, we reached 226 subscribers. We're sitting at 227 right now, actually. So someone just today subscribed. So to whoever number 227 is, thanks for showing up. We're glad to have you here. So we're just listening to the end of Hockey Central right now. They're talking about Mitch Marner's performance in Game 3, and what an absolutely incredible performance it was, right? I mean, record-breaking hat trick in the Stanley Cup Finals. There were a lot of records broken in Game 3, actually. The Hurricanes, the fastest 3 goals in Stanley Cup Final history. Not the fastest 3 goals in Stanley Cup playoffs history. That record belongs to the Maple Leafs, obviously, because everything is about the Leafs. As you can see by the lone decoration behind me. Other than, I got my suit hanging on the back of my door there. Welcome to my solitary confinement of a bedroom. It's home. It's home. I like it. I don't mean to keep flipping the logo on my drink here for everybody. That's just where the mouth hole is positioned. I'm not in any way sponsored by Sapsucker, although I wish I was. So, if you enjoy this stream, email Sapsucker, Canadian brand, and tell them to sponsor me, because I like money. Oh, man. I like money. Who doesn't like money? Man. People with too much money. They might not like money. They might be bored of money. Mitch Marner might be bored of money. That guy's making a fair amount of money. And he's got brand deals as well. He's got that Red Bull deal coming in. You pull into a Esso station or a Shell station, and there's just posters of Mitch Marner in a Red Bull jersey, because he can't wear a Golden Knights or Maple Leafs jersey in an advertisement. Big Red Bull guy. Apparently he drinks a can of Red Bull out of a paper cup or a plastic cup, whatever he's got on hand, before every game while he's getting his equipment on. I tried that for a couple of games in Beer League, and all that happened was I went out for warm-ups and then immediately sprinted back to the locker room and tore my gear off and ran into the washroom. Is that good? Is that entertaining? Is that what the people want to hear about tonight? What a preview of how today's going to go. Hey, folks. We've got a fair few people hopping in the stream now. Welcome, everybody. Game's not quite started yet. Technically, the broadcast hasn't even started yet. I'm up here in Canada listening to Sportsnet, Hockey Central. I've got Kelly Rudy yapping in my ear about something right now. I've talked about this before in videos, I think. Certainly during episodes of Blue and White Weekly, but I'm not a fan of Kelly Rudy. I think the man is a little full of himself. And if Kelly, if you ever end up seeing this, you were a phenomenal player, but you're not an entertaining broadcaster. I think he's full of himself, and I think he takes any excuse to make a conversation about goaltenders, which, in a very important position. There's a reason that players do everything they can to protect their goalie. But not every conversation needs to be brought back to, as a goalie. We don't need that, Kelly Rudy. We don't need that. Speaking of people on the panel that annoy me, Ron McLean. Is Ron McLean going to retire? Ever? How long is this guy's contract with Rogers Sportsnet? He's it's almost a meme. Well, it is a meme, but it's almost expected, anticipated, and I'm disappointed if it doesn't happen at this point. If Ron MacLean doesn't start a broadcast by talking about somebody's cousins, uncles, aunts, dog's best friend's pet parrot that lives in Listowel and owns a dress shop. The guy just comes up with the most insane stories, and in any other circumstance, they'd be interesting. They'd be funny. You know, if you're out at the pub with Ron MacLean, I'm sure him dropping these little bits of knowledge would be very, very entertaining. But it's not entertaining when I'm trying to get set to watch the most exciting hockey games of the year. I didn't catch today if he went on a tangent about anything. I really hope he did. That would be funny. But or it'd be funny if this was the one day he didn't do that, right? If the day that I'm complaining about is the day that he doesn't say anything. So he's still got a little bit of time to go. About 7 minutes till 8 o'clock. Watching Hockey Central right now. They got Kyle Bukauskas, the rinkside guy. He's interviewing Seth Jarvis right now, talking about his boys. I don't know if I hope everyone's familiar at this point with Seth Jarvis's buddies, the good old Canadian boys, as they've taken to call themselves on Instagram. It's all Seth Jarvis's childhood buddies from Manitoba, and they're the ones that came down. They took the road trip to Boston for the finals of the Four Nations last year. In the chat, Olivia's asking, are the good old Canadian boys there tonight? I don't know. This is important intel that I want to know. I'm going to check their Instagram right now, see if they're posting anything. I hope they made the trip to Vegas. I could see those guys really enjoying Vegas, you know what I mean? That they seem like a Vegas kind of crowd. Let's see if they made it down. Good old Canadian boys on Instagram. They've got 71,000 followers. Imagine getting 71,000 followers just because your boy made it to the NHL. That's crazy. I mean, to be fair, they are very entertaining dudes. I don't mean to knock them in any way. I wish I had 71,000 followers, you know what I mean? But I don't see anything that they've posted today about making the trip to Vegas, so I don't know if it happened. Vegas, which would be further from Manitoba? Would it be Vegas or Carolina? It would be Vegas, I guess. Neither are very close, but neither have to be close from Winnipeg. But Vegas would be a little bit further, right? Because it's just that little bit further south on the west coast. Good old Canadian boys. They should have made the trip to Vegas, man. I think that would have been interesting. That would have been really something. They were absolutely buzzing after the Four Nations. They were probably the most entertaining part of... I want to say they were the most entertaining part of the Four Nations because there was a lot happening during the Four Nations buzz that made... that was exciting, but I think they were the most interesting story, the most unexpected story to come out of all that. And then... You know, when they went over to Milano Cortina for the Olympics and watched the Team Canada games there, they were absolutely rocking. I'm surprised Italy's in one piece after those guys made the trip. But yeah, I hope they make it to Game 5 if they're not there tonight. If they are there tonight, I have no proof of it. Seth Jarvis, man, what a player, and a man that was almost a Leaf. You know, the pick that Carolina selected him with once belonged to the Leafs, and that was part of the Patrick Marleau deal, the cap dump that ended up happening when the Leafs didn't have much use for Patty Marleau anymore, and his salary hit was getting a bit high on the books. You know, in the late 2010s, just kind of right before COVID, when the cap was refusing to go up, and Kyle Dubas' whole plan at the time was that the cap would go up. He couldn't hang on to Patrick Marleau anymore, and ended up trading him to Carolina. And a sweetener as part of that, as the story goes, is a pick that ended up turning into Seth Jarvis. So we say that Seth Jarvis would have been a Leaf. Who knows if that was actually the case? The Leafs might not have picked him. But the pick that was used to get him eventually became Seth Jarvis. I can't even picture Seth Jarvis on the Leafs right now. Can you imagine that? We might even have a cup by now if Seth Jarvis was on the Leafs. So this guy that's backing up Brandon Bussey tonight, Kochetkov, his last NHL game was December 20th. And he played 2 AHL games in April. Let's hope this guy doesn't have to get into the lineup, because he's, if we go off of that, the guy's clearly got some rust on him. Let's hope Brandon Bussey can pick it up. He played well when he came in relief for Freddie in Game 3. You know, I suppose he made one costly mistake, and that was letting in the overtime winner. But what can you do? Nobody's perfect, eh? I think it was something like he faced 19 shots once Freddie came out, stopping 18 of them. Not bad. And he performed well throughout the regular season. Played in, I want to say, about 36, 37 games throughout the regular season. Won most of them. I don't know. Let's go check his stat line on NHL.com. Yeah, let's see what's up here. Brandon Bussey. So he had he's got a 947 save percentage. Brandon Bussey. That's not bad at all. It is really interesting, Freddie Anderson not being out here, not even dressed for the game. I expected Bussey to start the game, but for Freddie to not even dress, I would have expected to see him on the bench. But that guy's going through a lot right now, unfortunately. His, if everyone remembers... Sorry. Oh, something stuck in my throat there. But yeah, Freddie Anderson's going through a lot right now. Claude Lemieux, the Habs legend who unfortunately passed away recently by suicide. He was Frederik Anderson's agent, not only his agent but his mentor, someone that Freddie Anderson looked up to a lot. And the day of Lemieux's death was the day that the Hurricanes beat the Habs to advance to the Stanley Cup Final. A game that Freddie played absolutely incredible in. And there's a video on the Hurricanes Twitter of Freddie receiving the Player of the Game award and just breaking down in the locker room. So you can only imagine, even still about a week and a half removed from that, what the guy must be feeling. And he could be injured with something. You know, the insiders are saying, Elliot Friedman reported a couple minutes ago that Freddie's not injured, but who knows? Carolina definitely wants to keep things like that under wraps at the moment. So the game broadcast is finally starting. If anyone has it on their television or their computer. Like I said earlier, for anyone new that's tuned in, I encourage you to watch the game along with me, because I can't put it up here. That's a whole lot of copyright violations, so you'll just have to settle for my lovely voice and the little score bug down here, keeping you updated on what's happening. But the broadcast has finally started. We're after 8 o'clock, which means puck drop's probably going to be in about 10-15 minutes. I hate that hockey does that. You know, it's probably my biggest gripe with things that are normalized in hockey, other than all the horrific things with hockey culture, but we don't have time to get into that. I might make a video on that someday. But my biggest annoyance with things that are ingrained in hockey culture is start times. They always announce that a game is like, oh yeah, we're starting at 7, we're starting at 8, we're going to start at 7:30. And then 20 minutes later, they haven't started still, because we're doing pregame stuff, we're doing the national anthems, we might have a pregame ceremony, you know, if it's like a Hall of Fame game or an awards being given out or something. It very much annoys me. But then you look at baseball, you know, you go check the schedule for the Blue Jays game or something, and it's like, oh yeah, the first pitch is at 7:07, and guess what? The first pitch is usually thrown out at 7:07, sometimes even 7:06 if you're lucky, because they know better than to keep people waiting, I suppose, is the terminology. They know better to just let you know, hey, here's when the actual action is starting, and you can tune in at 7 if you want to see the whole shebang. But 7:07 is when we're getting underway. Oh, of all the days to develop a cough, eh? And it's when I got to talk for 2.5, 3 hours in front of you lovely people. Speaking of which, we're going all night here, folks. We are going all night long. I'm going to be with you for all 3 periods. I'm going to take a break, probably at intermissions. I'll come back and chat for a bit during some of the intermissions. But we're going to be here for all 3 periods, overtime if we've got it. And I'm going to be honest with you, I think we're getting overtime tonight. I really do. I think overtime is going to be a common theme throughout this series. Same with close games. Every game so far I think has been a one goal deal. I suppose if we're on that subject, now's a good enough time to give you my prediction for tonight's game. I'm going to say Carolina takes it. I think we are going to overtime. I think Carolina's going to win this one. Let's go 3-2. Let's settle down the goals a bit here, folks. I think through the 3 games so far, we've had 25 goals scored, which is absolutely ridiculous to hear. I wouldn't be shocked if it continues, but I think with Bussy coming in the net for the Hurricanes, things are going to slow down a little bit. Carter Hart is, I don't want to use the word rattled, but to give up 3 goals on 3 shots there to let the Hurricanes get back into Game 3, that's got to mess with your confidence if you're him. Not that I'm complaining about that because I don't like Carter Hart for obvious reasons. I'm only talking about him because he is an integral part of this series, but I really don't want to give the guy time of day. I don't want to give him airwaves. I think he's a deplorable human being, and I don't think he has a place in the National Hockey League. But I do think Carolina takes this game. I also think Carolina needs to take this game. I think I said it off the top for anyone that missed. If Carolina loses this game, it's over. It could go to 5, 6, 7, whatever. I think this one's over. If the Canes lose tonight, I don't see them coming back from a 3-1 series deficit. Fingers crossed, of course, but I just don't see it. So, they're talking right now on the broadcast. Elliot Friedman and David Amber are discussing what's going on with Elliot Friedman. Not with Elliot Friedman, with Freddie Anderson. Friedman repeated once again, Freddie's not injured. We don't know what's going on with him. But that's just another piece of the puzzle, I suppose, that's made this series so exciting, so many storylines. And we hope Freddie's okay, of course. Leafs legend. I absolutely adore Freddie. How can you not like a guy that has a Lego Viking on his helmet? That's my goat right there. So hopefully Freddie's healthy and is just needs a day off to recollect himself. And I hope whether it's on the bench or between the pipes, I hope we see him back in Game 5. So that being said, Brandon Bussy's starting tonight for the Hurricanes. Carter Hart's in net for the Golden Knights. And Pyotr Kochetkov is going to back up Brandon Bussy. And let's hope he doesn't have to get into the game. So yeah, they're talking right now. Brandon Bussy in relief for Freddie Anderson. 18 saves on 19 shots. Of course, that one save he couldn't make was the overtime winner scored by Shea Theodore back Game 3 Sunday night. Was it Sunday night or Saturday night? My apologies. It was weird that they took that 2 days off, right? Am I the only one a little confused by that? They, normally you would take that 2 day gap if you had travel to do. But they took the gap while they were already in Vegas. I could see a bit of a gap between games 2 and 3, let them travel from Raleigh to Vegas, but they decided to take the gap 3 and 4, and I just don't get it. I'll have to check the schedule. I'm not sure if we have another gap after tonight as they travel back to Raleigh for Game 5. I'll take a look and see. I don't think we have any more gaps in the schedule coming up for the rest of the series. I think it's just games, and more games. We do have gaps coming up. So we've got tonight's game, obviously, Game 4 coming at us. It's Tuesday. And then Thursday will be Game 5, and then we've got to wait until Sunday for Game 6, if that ends up happening, of course. So, weird that Gary Bettman would miss out on those Saturday night time slots that he loves so much. Maybe he couldn't, swing a media deal in the States, especially with the NBA Finals happening. Sorry, I'm just going to put a pillow under my chair, because my chair's getting rather uncomfortable at the moment. If I go to sit here for 2 more hours, my butt's going to fall asleep. Give me 1 sec. That is so much comfier. That's lovely. Does everyone like my jersey, by the way? Repping the Halifax Highlanders tonight from the movie Goon. One of my favorite movies. I don't have a Golden Knights or Hurricanes jersey. Not that I would wear a Knights jersey if I owned one, because I really don't want... I'm not rooting for them. Yeah, what a stud. There we go in the chat. Thank you. Thank you. It was between this or I've got a Team North America jersey with Colton Parayko on the back, of all names. And of all the guys, great player, Colton Parayko, but of all the guys that were on that Team North America in the 2016 World Cup, he's not the one that first comes to mind. A team that had names like Austin Matthews, Connor McDavid, I think Nate McKinnon was on that team. Morgan Riley was on that team. I remember that very clearly. Got some news coming in here from Darren Drager from TSN. The NHLPA has asked the NHL to move forward with an investigation into the allegations Mike Babcock invaded players' privacy during his time in Columbus. So I don't know if anyone needs a refresher on this, but a couple years ago, Mike Babcock was hired as the head coach of the Columbus Blue Jackets. And before he ever coached a game for them, was fired after he was invading players' privacy, going through their phones, looking at family pictures, very, very strange stuff. And this was also after the man engaged in what can only be described as psychological warfare with rookie Mitch Marner. There we go, tie back to tonight's game. Rookie Mitch Marner, when he was with the Maple Leafs, asking Mitch to rank his teammates from hardest working to least hardest working. Just because Babcock wanted to know, he wasn't going to share the information. So Mitch did it, and then Babcock shared the information and embarrassed Mitch in front of all his teammates. What an odd dude. But the reason all this is coming back up in the news is apparently the Edmonton Oilers have asked the NHLPA if they can interview Mike Babcock for their head coaching position. Of course, after they fired Chris Knobloch, probably about 3 weeks ago now. And the word on the street is that this is a request from Connor McDavid. That Connor McDavid was the one that went to general manager Stan Bowman and said, hey, what if we went after a guy like Babcock? And I'm not totally shocked. McDavid just wants to win, and Babcock is a proven coach. It's proven he can get it done. But I don't personally support the decision. I know if it was the Leafs in this position, I would not be happy about it. As a Leafs fan, I don't know how Oilers fans are feeling about the situation, but it's got to be awkward, right? For a guy that's done things like that. Nothing illegal, nothing creepy. Well, I don't want to say nothing creepy. He's a bit of a weirdo, but to have that guy potentially joining your organization, that's got to be a little weird. Chat's starting to get a little active. Love to see that. Kelly Green says, tuning in from Mount Albert. Thank you very much. Love Mount Albert. Mount Albert, Ontario. Shouts out. And there's Graham O'Leary saying, watching from Markham. Love Markham as well. Great place to be. Love Markville Mall. Not quite what it was when I was a kid, but fun place to wander around, eh? Markville Mall is not, and I haven't been since Toys R Us went out of business, but it's not going to be the same now that Toys R Us is gone. Anyone else sad that Toys R Us went bankrupt? That just feels a little weird that we now live in a Toys R Us free world. Felt the same when Zellers left Canada or when Sears shut down. Just feels like there's something empty. There's an empty feeling there. Alright, so the game's going to get started very shortly. The broadcast is just picking up. I think we're going to get some player introductions and the national anthems coming up soon. Sorry, national anthem singular because they're not doing the Canadian anthem. It's just two American teams playing. Very unfortunate, I think, for the Stanley Cup Final in a league that is such cross-border. I think they should be playing both anthems for the end of the season. Olivia says, watching from Port Whitby. Shouts out Whitby. Love Whitby. Close to Oshawa, though. Don't know about that. Albert says, my parents never brought me to Toys R Us. It sucks, bro. I gotta. That's a tough one. Where'd you go for your toys? Or did you not get any toys? I always forget that the Golden Knights have a bit of a intro with their games. They really drive home this presentation. I guess it is Vegas, after all. You gotta have the showmanship. But for those of you not watching the broadcast, they've got a lady on a harness wearing what I can only describe as a Scarlet Witch cosplay. And she's shooting lightning bolts all over the ice, and she's flying in the sky. There's men in Golden Knights jerseys playing drums, and they've been thrown into the air, I guess. And the Golden Knight is there, of course. They have a guy in golden armor out on the ice doing what I can only assume is a dance. What kind of skates does that guy have on? I want to know what kind of skates the Golden Knight wears. Is he a Bauer guy, a CCM guy? Is this a true guy? Hot take, if you wear true skates, I think less of you as a person. True makes great hockey sticks. I hear their shoulder pads are pretty good, but if you wear true skates, I think less of you. Oh, yeah, Albert back in the chat. You were a Walmart kid. Walmart had good toys. I'll give Walmart that. I still, if I'm in Walmart, buying groceries or something, or I need to stop in for get like a roll of tape or something, I will take a look down the toy aisle. Shouts out Walmart toy aisle. The Golden Knight, the guy wearing the Golden Knight costume skating around the ice, is Mad Dog in the camera. He's standing at center ice now. Oh, he's going to welcome the players to the ice. That makes sense. But this is what I mean, though. This is what I was saying earlier about... They say, 8 o'clock puck drop. The game's going to start at 8. Here we are, 8:15, and we've got two people essentially doing cosplay on the ice. We haven't even seen a player yet, let alone an inch of game. Very cool shot of the Golden Knight helmet positioned above the bench. The players are going to skate out of it, kind of like the Sharks do with the big shark mouth. I love when teams have something like that. I kind of wish the Leafs had that. I can remember the Predators. They've got a gimmick like that where they skate out of a big saber-toothed tiger mouth. I know the Stars at one point, if I'm not mistaken, skated out of a big star, obviously. They got who else was it? Did the Oilers ever skate out of like a big oil rig? In my mind, I remember that. Maybe it's because you had the option to do that in Chell for your custom team. You could have your guys skate out of a big oil rig, but I swear Edmonton did that at some point. All right, here come the Golden Knights. Give Vegas credit. They know how to do presentation, and they're playing the song from John Wick 2 as well, the song that plays in the nightclub while Keanu Reeves is beating people up. That's cool, I guess. Shouts out John Wick. What a great series. Went on too long. Oh, apparently it's night time. Spell with a K. Get it? Ridiculous. All right. Just about ready to start here, folks. I'm going to have the U.S. anthem in a moment. I'd still say that they should play the Canadian anthem as well. If you're a league with lots of Canadian teams and you're approaching the finals, you should have, both anthems playing. I don't care if it's just two American teams playing. I can understand for the NBA or the MLB where it's just one Canadian team, but when so much of your audience comes from Canada, probably well over half your audience, Play the Canadian anthem. It's hockey. Come on. Brandon Bussey's got a hat that says house money. It's a fitting hat to wear in Vegas, I guess. One thing they don't tell you about live streaming like this, how dry your throat gets. Apologies for guzzling down water, but we've been doing this for what, a half hour, and I've already got a sore throat. This is crazy. Alright, U.S. anthems just about to get underway. And then we'll settle in for game 4. It's going to be a good game. Everyone get your predictions in the chat right now before the puck drops. Then you've got receipts. Give me your prediction of the final score and who you think's going to win. I said earlier 3-2 Carolina in overtime, and I'm going to stick by that, I'm going to say 3-2 Carolina in overtime. Oh, who's going to score the game winner? Let's say, who's an off-the-board pick? I'll say Jordan Martinook. I don't know if that's off the board, but let's go with Martinook to score the game winner. Rod Brindamore is dialed for this game. He's chewing that gum. You can see why they call him Rod the Bod, eh? You ever see a picture of this guy with his tarp off? Weird question, I know, but if you ever see a picture of Rod Brindamore with his tarp off, you would know why his nickname's Rod the Bod. This guy is absolutely shredded. He was as a player. I can remember a photo shoot he did when he was just starting out with the Canes. Guy was jacked, and he still is to this day. The rookies probably come into training camp just absolutely soiling their trousers, just knowing that they got to work out with this utter machine. So the chat is very Carolina heavy. Now, are we saying that as a bias here, folks, or is that what we really believe is going to happen? I know the Golden Knights are not a popular team, but what's the reason for that? All right, we're just about ready. Get started here. We've got a Blackhawks fan in chat. Oh, good to see. Hope you make it back to the playoffs some point this century. I can't say that. I'm a Leafs fan. Hey, we get there. We just don't ever do anything. Carter Hart's got a .915 save percentage. I did not know that. I can't tell if that's lower than I expected or higher. Both goalies, though, with a above 900 save percentage. You don't see that often in the NHL anymore. I know a lot of scouts, a lot of GMs, apparently to have what's considered a good save percentage in the NHL is if you're above like 870, 880, somewhere in there. They look for that. Anything lower than that, though, not going to happen. All right, we are underway. And score bug is running. We got a bit of a delay there, unfortunately. But we're good to go. Nick Ehlers has the puck in the Vegas zone early in the game. You know what happens there. Hurricanes, well, they looked like they had some good pressure to start, trying to set something up. All right. It was an exciting game. Really, really excited for this. Hurricane, I mean, we're not even a minute in yet, but Hurricanes definitely with the ozone pressure. Okay, now here come the Golden Knights with a breakout. Kind of. I say breakout and it's an icing call. Oh, well. Yeah, Nick Ehlers. What a guy, eh? And you know what? I haven't seen a lot of people talk about this. very similar trajectory to Mitch Marner this season. You know, in a very passionate Canadian market. Lots of trips to the playoffs. Not a lot of success. Then you go to an American team, a tax-free state no less, and light it up and find yourself in the final. Oh, there we go! Hurricanes score already. That was a quick goal there. The Carolina Hurricanes. Not bad at all. Good play in front there. Logan Stankoven. Backhand right in the slot. He's got guys covering him, but just couldn't. It's a bobbling puck, mind you. Bounced off the boards, but I can't say I'm upset about that one. Nice to see. Nice to see indeed. Alright, now the Golden Knights finally set up in the offensive zone. Never mind, there come the Hurricanes again. We got a penalty already. Wow. I'm not going to lie to you, this keeping track of this clock down here is getting pretty annoying. That's going to take some getting used to. The shots I can kind of keep up with. The goals, that's easy. But starting and stopping this clock is already annoying. And we're not even 5 minutes into the game. But I don't have a way to turn it off on my my overlay machine. Whatever you want to call it. So, we ball. Great start for the Hurricanes, though. 1-0. 2 minutes in. And on the power play already. The Golden Knights, I don't want to say they look like they're playing frazzled, but they definitely haven't started on time. Now Hurricanes have, I was about to say have possession, but they don't. Puck goes all the way down to Brandon Bussey, who hasn't had to do anything yet. No shots so far for the Golden Knights through 2 minutes of play. Oh, something now, though. They've got a breakaway. Mark Stone's in on goal. Stopped by Bussey. Not bad there. Another chance for the Golden Knights. Couldn't get it, though. Not bad. Hurricanes back the other way now. They're setting up, trying to apply some pressure here in the offensive zone. They're just playing keep away with the Golden Knights right now. That was a weird angle shot from Sebastian Aho. The guy just tried to shoot it corner of the net, tight side over Carter Hart's shoulder. I personally wouldn't attempt that, but that was brave and would have been very smart if it paid off. Would have been very cool indeed. Lots of high danger chances already for both teams, and we've only got 4 shots on goal in the whole game. Wow. That's what you want, though, to playoff hockey, especially in the finals. Another good chance for the Hurricanes there. Shot on goal. And they scored again! Wow! 2-0 for Carolina. That's something, isn't it? Wow. I'm glad to see them doing well, but I did not expect that to happen so soon. Jackson Blake scoring that one. Isn't he? Correct me if I'm wrong. Is he not Jason Blake's son? Guy who used to play for the Leafs. That's his 6th of the postseason. Jackson Blake, great player. And that was just a beautiful tee-up from Taylor Hall as well. Nice little tic-tac-toe play. Ehlers down to Hall at the goal line. cross to Blake. I don't think Carter Hart stood a chance on that one, man. Very impressive stuff. Well, the Canes, I said the Canes needed to win this game, and they must have heard me, because they have just come out flying here. Good for them. The Hurricanes are trying to set up again in the Vegas zone. The Golden Knights just need to do something like that. As I'm saying, they need to do something. Carter Hart settles things down, freezing the puck. Hopefully, for their sakes, hopefully Vegas can gather their bearings. So the Hurricanes have scored 2 or more goals in every game of the playoffs this year. That is impressive considering some of the goaltenders they've gone up against. Carter Hart, great goalie, despite what you might think of him as a human being. Last round they went up against Jakub Dobeš. Stood on his head. Was really the only reason Montreal was in that series, let's be honest. After Game 1, Montreal really didn't do a whole lot to help Dobeš out. But don't get me wrong, that is a fun team to watch, the Habs. And they're going to be dangerous in the years to come. I think this year was just one of a lot of postseason appearances for them coming up. So I mentioned it a little earlier, the Mike Babcock story with the Oilers requesting to talk to him. Darren Dreger reported just before puck drop that the NHLPA asked the NHL to investigate further what happened with Mike Babcock and the Columbus Blue Jackets, and now that is official. TSN can fully confirm that the NHLPA and NHL are investigating what went on with Mike Babcock in Columbus. That was a crazy shot by Rasmus Andersson there. He teed that up. The whole stadium, by the sounds of things, got on their feet. And I don't think I've seen anyone miss the net that badly since Cody Ceci. Oh, and there's a scramble in front of the Carolina net. Bussy was down for a moment. But now the puck's back out to center. Oh, and Carolina has it in the Vegas zone. Carter Hart is doing a weird job tonight with his puck control. Puck there looked like it was shot almost directly at his glove. And it just went right in front of an open cage. Someone's got to help this guy out. His defensemen aren't doing much in front of the net for him. Carolina is aggressive tonight. The Canes are coming out flying. I don't know what Brindamore said to them in the locker room before the game, but it is working. Flip side, I think John Tortorella must have read the Golden Knights a lullaby, because when they do have jump in their step so far, they look off kilter, I think is the word I would use. They look a little out of it at the moment. This is not the Golden Knights we've seen in the previous 3 games of this series. A very dominant, pressuring team that just runs you over, really. They're a very smothering team. I wouldn't say physically smothering like the Panthers were in the previous 2 years of the playoffs, but it's definitely a proven track record that you need to be an effective team and a very... Mark Stone with another breakaway. Oh, and he scores. The net came off, but it looks like they're going to count it. I'm sure we'll see a replay of that. But a goal from Mark Stone, and the Golden Knights are on the board. My prediction was 3-2, and we're already about halfway there. Only 7 minutes, into the first period. This is going to be another exciting game here, folks, and I'm not upset about it. Wow. Absolutely wow. That's his second breakaway of the game. Oh, yeah, that puck is way in the net before it gets knocked off its hinges by Jacob Slavin. Impressive. I don't know what you expect Brandon Bussey to do on that one. That was just skillful. And we know Mark Stone's a skillful player when he bothers showing up, that is. He, Mr. LTIR. But he's here. He always manages to get healthy for the finals. Imagine that. Imagine that. Wow. Good stuff here. Not boring. You cannot say you're bored watching the 2026 Stanley Cup Final. Every game so far has had a storyline to it. And the storyline of this one is, why bother having goalies, hey? Carolina's starting to lay the body a little bit. That's good to see. Starting to get into it a bit. Carter Hart's out of his net to play the puck. I really wanted Carolina to get the puck there. Oh. All right. Icing call on Vegas. Gonna go back the other way. Wow. What a game so far, eh? Not even halfway through the first frame. And we're already halfway to my prediction. Let's see some of the other score predictions we got in the chat here. If you didn't before, get your predictions down in the chat of the final score of the game. I don't think anyone said Vegas is going to win so far. Not that I'm complaining about that. But we got a lot of Carolina truthers in here. Canes truthers, baby. 5-2 Carolina, 4-3 Carolina. Well, those predictions are definitely holding up in chat, because this is going to be a high-scoring affair. Probably going to even be more than that, you know? Wow. What a game so far as we head to the first commercial break of the game. Crazy, crazy stuff. So that's Mark Stone's 7th of the playoffs so far. As I adjust my time clock. Like I said, this thing's going to be really annoying to keep track of here. The trying to keep up with what's going on. The shots I can do, the goals are easy, but stopping and starting this clock is going to be the death of me tonight. That might not stick around. I can't lie. But we're figuring it out. This is how it goes, eh? Alright. This, I don't know, for anyone that's watching that's able to watch the game right now. Oh, hang on, in the chat here, we've got a Vegas prediction. Yalvert says 5-4 Vegas. I really hope you're wrong. I really hope you're wrong about that, and I hope you're just saying that to be different, be a disturber. But that is, yeah, I hope Vegas doesn't win. Because I can see Carolina, climbing back in Game 5. If Vegas does win tonight and makes the series 3-1, I can see Carolina winning Game 5 in their home barn, make it 3-2. I don't see them winning Game 6 or 7. I don't see a full comeback at that point. But wait and see, I suppose. As we come back from commercial break on the Sportsnet broadcast, getting ready to continue the first period here. What a wild first period it's been so far. What if they're just getting the goals out of their system now? Like, what if the goalies haven't fully woken up yet? And, sorry, I gotta go on a tangent for a sec. I hate the new Stanley Cup patch. The Stanley Cup Finals patch. The old one was so much better when we were younger, right? And the way it's positioned on the jerseys, like, I don't know if anyone's able to see right now, but looking at Mark Stone's jersey, I feel claustrophobic seeing the Stanley Cup patch next to his C. You could put it on the other side of the jersey, but you got the big stupid jersey advertisement, which I'm not as against as some people out there are. I know a lot of people, jersey purists. I know there's one creator here on YouTube named Aesthetics who just absolutely despises having the jersey ads now that that's been normalized. But I don't hate it so long as they remain small, and I really like the ones that blend with the team uniforms, with the Maple Leafs and their milk patch, which I find funny because their helmet sponsor is Oreo, cookies and milk. But if you look at like the Flyers, and they corrected it this season, but the Flyers last season had a jersey patch that was blue, a bright blue jersey patch for the orange Philadelphia Flyers. Sorry, I paused the game clock there because I thought I heard the whistle go, but must have been someone in the stands blowing a whistle or something, trying to confuse players and confuse me. So we're just now coming up on the halfway mark of this game. Hasn't been a shot in a couple of minutes. No shots on goal for either team in probably about 2 minutes now. Was that a shot on goal for Carolina? Couldn't tell. It was! We're counting it. I've got a delay on my shot counter because I have to wait and see if Sportsnet counts it. Like, there's a whole shot on goal that I missed. Shots are 10-2 Carolina. Vegas not generating a lot of offense in the early goings here. I'd be curious to see at the end of the game what their time on attack ends up being. Vegas is leading the game so far in a couple of metric hits. For example, got 8 hits to just 2 for Carolina. What a missed opportunity by the Golden Knights there. They had a 3-on-2 and could not get a shot on goal. Save their life. Hurricanes had a chance to go back the other way and failed. Now the Golden Knights are trying to set up again in the zone. That's a good keep of the line there. Not bad. I haven't seen, unless I wasn't paying attention, I haven't seen Braden McNabb yet in this game. I'd be curious to see if he's still got his birdcage on after he took that puck to the nose in Game 2. That just looked not fun. Brutal, even. And he showed up in Game 3 with a birdcage on. Very funny to see a guy wearing a cage in the Stanley Cup Final. Like, it's always funny to see a guy in a fishbowl or a cage at the NHL level, but then to see it in the Stanley Cup Final. Imagine you win the Stanley Cup and you go to whip your helmet off to celebrate with your teammates and you got to unlatch your cage. I don't want to use the word embarrassing, but definitely funny that would be. A great chance for Pavel Dorofeyev a couple minutes ago, and he could not bury it past Brandon Bussie, who's playing well so far. He's only had to face 2 shots on goal, but not playing poorly at all. Sorry, 4 shots on goal. I am getting way behind on my shot counter here, folks. You can let me hear it in the chat. You can complain to me. Don't worry. I have thick skin. I can take it. Alright, so what's going to happen at intermission is I'm going to take a short break. Go get something to eat. Get my first intermission snacks in. A little bathroom break. And you're going to see this pop up on screen. My little Be Right Back screen. Yeah, I worked very hard on that in Google Pictures. We don't use Photoshop around here. That's for the cool kids. No. Wow, what a tan line I got going on my neck right now. That is, you just got, been out in the sun at work, working in the lumberyard. Apparently I missed a spot with my sunscreen. That's unfortunate. If you're watching on the Sportsnet broadcast, or if you've been watching anything on Sportsnet lately, have you seen the Rogers commercial with Michael Cera, the actor? Goofy stuff. Him showing the Blue Jays around his apartment. I truly believe that that's what Michael Cera's apartment looks like. Just a shrine to the Toronto Blue Jays. With, having Ernie Clement's childhood glove that he bought off of Ernie's mom. That was some fun. There's some fun writing in that commercial. I'll give them that. Not a Rogers guy myself, but I will give them that. They know how to make a funny ad. Except for the ad during last year's playoff, the Lay It on the Line ad that played during every single commercial break and sometimes midway through the game. Lay it on the line. Remember that? Oh, man. I can't listen to that song anymore. And false puck drop by the ref, making me start my scorebug clock early. Thanks, ref. You absolute clown. And he's kicking Jordan Staal out of the faceoff circle as well. Hate to see that. What did Jordan Staal ever do to you? Man's a hero. Hero to the people of Carolina, at least. Not to me. I have no particular allegiance to Jordan Staal. All right. 8 minutes to go here in the first frame of Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Final. It's been fun so far. If you want to see another live stream like this for Game 5, or maybe even do one for the Leafs next season, let me know. Because this has been fun, and I'm only going to get better at it, right? This is test drive for me. It's been good so far. All right. There's a penalty coming up. Sounds like it's a too many men call. And I think it is. It's going against the Vegas Golden Knights. Too many men. They're taking some weird penalties in this series, man. Especially the critical one, the delay of game that they took in Game 3. That let the late in Game 3, mind you, that let the Canes go on the power play and even up the score, send it to overtime. Didn't end up working out for the Canes. But still can't be taking weird penalties like that. That's the only word for a puck over the glass penalty. Weird. Because I don't think anyone ever means to do it. I don't think any player's ever been like, hey, let me put my team at a massive disadvantage at this close game. Sometimes the puck just leaves your stick like that. Bounces up over the glass. I remember Mitch Marner did it 2021 in the first round against the Habs. In deciding game, the Hurricanes score again on this power play. A costly power play for the Vegas Golden Knights. As Jordan Staal, the captain, makes it 3-1 Carolina. This is I hope you bet the over, folks. This is turning into quite the barn burner here. Wow. Great goal, too. I think it was a tip in front after Gostisbehere shot that from the point. Oh no, bounced off Braden McNabb, the birdcage himself, and landed in front of Carter Hart. So Carter Hart was expecting that thing to either go in his glove or hit the crossbar. And we end up with a Jordan Staal goal. And Braden McNabb has the birdcage on. Let's go! Shout out birdcage. All right. What an interesting stat, too. Jordan Staal has scored in all 4 games of the Stanley Cup Final. Unreal stuff there. How many brothers does Jordan Staal have? Let's think about it. There's Eric. There's Mark. I'm definitely missing one, right? I feel like there's a 4th Staal brother. If anyone can think of the 4th Staal brother, please let me know in chat. Mark, Eric, and Eric also played for the Hurricanes, I believe. Although I mostly remember him playing for the Penguins, I think. And then Mark Staal played... Where was he? For some reason, I remember him mostly being with the Habs, but I think he just retired with them. Very strange. We got about 6 minutes left here in the first frame, folks. Carolina is dominating not only the scoreboard... Well, I don't want to say dominating. 2-goal lead is the most dangerous lead in hockey. But they're leading on the scoreboard, and they are certainly dominating shots on goal. 13-4 for them. As we're going to head to another TV timeout by the looks of things. So that Rogers and Sportsnet can just milk all that advertising money, you know. And I don't blame them. Get paid. Get paid, brother. Because obviously the Rogers family needs more money. Let's go to the chat now. Brian Leafs says you should definitely do live stream again. this playoff and looking forward to you doing a Leaf game. Thank you, Brian. I will, all right, yeah, maybe we'll get this going again for Game 5, which will be Thursday night. And if it's a success again, we'll just go till this series is done. And I'll definitely promise another live stream for the Maple Leafs next year. What's going on with the Leafs right now, man? Got a lot of secrecy surrounding that organization, which is, if the past is anything to go on, that's just how John Chaika likes it. But lots to talk about with the Leafs. Obviously, holders of the first overall pick, which, if you think they're going with anyone other than Gavin McKenna, I think you're sniffing the weird Kool-Aid, man. Because Gavin McKenna, there's some years where you can go, oh, what about this guy? What about that guy? Gavin McKenna is a clear-cut first overall. I know Ivar Stenberg, his name has been thrown around. But, yeah, I find it very funny that Gavin McKenna was the clear-cut first overall, like, there's no one that can even touch this kid. And then, as soon as the Leafs get the first overall pick, suddenly there's all these other names in there. I think it's definitely the hockey media, very smartly, mind you, just trying to drum up the Toronto market. We are a very, I say we, I'm part of the Toronto market, even though I also consider myself in hockey media. We are a very easy market to stir. It's not hard to upset that hornet's nest and give people something to talk about. Toronto loves nothing more than to hear about Toronto in the news. Back to the game here now. Got 5:55 on the clock as the Hurricanes hold a 3-1 lead here in Game 4. But a very back and forth period. Other than the 2 power plays that the Hurricanes have had, I don't think either team has really had sustained pressure in the offensive zone. They haven't really had a chance to set up, if you will. The Golden Knights certainly haven't, and that shows on the shot clock for them. Their 1 goal came on a breakaway from the neutral zone, no less. Hurricane just hit the deck, but he got back up. He's all right. I have no idea. The unfortunate thing is, other than like 4 or 5 guys per team, I don't know who anyone is on these teams. I don't have numbers memorized. And if you asked me with the Leafs, I could tell you pretty much anybody's number on that team. But with the Golden Knights, I think I know Mark Stone is 61, Rasmus Anderson is 4, Mitch Marner's 93, Carter Hart's the guy with the pads on. And then with the Hurricanes, Stahl wears 11, Gustus Bear wears 4, Seth Jarvis wears 24. But, even someone as important to their lineup as like Taylor Hall or Logan Stankoven, I don't think, gun to my head, I could tell you what numbers they wear, which is very unfortunate. I'm going to adjust my shot clock here on the score bug, because apparently they've taken back one of Carolina's shots on goal. There goes Sportsnet screwing me over again. Trying to give you guys the most accurate stuff. And their stuff isn't even accurate. Just goes to show. Check your sources, eh? Icing call now against Carolina, as we are just under 5 minutes left in the first period. So I'll say again, when the first intermission hits, I'm going to take a short break, throw out my Be Right Back screen, and then I'll come back partway through the intermission, hang out with everybody, and I hope you all stick around for the second and the third, and overtime if it happens, because I mean, not right now, but I initially predicted that we would see overtime. I hope we do. Overtime is always fun in the playoffs. This game gets back underway here. Golden Knights trying to set something up. The Canes now with possession of the puck as they get out of their zone and back out to center. A weird compliment that I want to give the Carolina Hurricanes. They are great at line changes. I don't know what that is. I don't know. I can't explain that compliment, really. But the Carolina Hurricanes make impressive line changes. Lots of icing calls, though. I think that's 2 in the last 2 minutes for them. Birdcage, Braden McNabb. What a guy. Brandon Bussey is dialing in here. He's only had to face 4 shots and he let 1 in. But guy's got a scary look in his eye right now. Brandon Bussey, what a fella. As the Golden Knights bring it out of their zone. Try to set up again. There's a Golden Knights number that I know. Number 9, Jack Eichel. How could I forget? There we go. The Knights setting up a little bit in the offensive zone. As annoying as, a team in the offensive zone just passing the puck back and forth is, as annoying as that is to watch and you're yelling at your TV, shoot! It is a very satisfying thing to watch this team just playing keep away and toying with their food. And, that's a bad penalty. I think they're going to call that a slash or a hook. Taylor Hall just knocked the stick out of the hands of a Golden Knights player. Didn't look malicious necessarily, but and it didn't look aggressive either, but maybe just weak hands on the stick as Ivan Barbashev drops his stick, and Taylor Hall is off to the box with a slashing call. That's a fair assessment, calling it slashing, So the Golden Knights with their first power play of the game with about 2.5 minutes left in the period. As I adjust my clock because I forgot it was running again. Told you that was going to be an issue for me. And the Hurricanes win that offensive zone draw. Hoping to get the puck out, but the Golden Knights keep it at the line. Thrown on goal, and Bussey freezes the puck. 8 seconds run off the Vegas power play. There you go, an improvement to Brandon Bussey's save percentage here. One more shot on goal as that one was just launched from the point. When I say launched, I do not mean like a missile or a bullet. I mean literally just lobbed at the net hoping it would hit. Hit something, hit anything, right? Canes have been relatively good on penalty kill so far. They just threw their penalty kill percentage up on the screen here on the Sportsnet broadcast. And I missed it, because of course I did. Because I was looking at my phone. It's because I'm always on that phone. Sad, really. And the Golden Knights, once again, they just can't set up in the Carolina zone. Even a down a man, the Canes are just getting the puck out. They're doing a very good job of that. They haven't... I don't think the Canes have gotten a shot on goal in about 3-4 minutes of ice time here. But they're doing a very good job. One thing I will say for the Canes as well, they've done well of catching up in the hits department. The Golden Knights, at one point, were leading them about 9-2 in this game in hits. And it's currently sitting at 15-11 in favor of the Golden Knights still. Golden Knights are also leading in blocked shots. But they're leading in giveaways 6-3. I don't know if that bobble in front of the net that led to the Jordan Staal goal is going to count as a giveaway. One would hope not, for their sake. And another save there, or rather another face-off win there for the Hurricanes as we enter the last minute of play here in the first. All right. The power play is just about up for the Golden Knights. 20 seconds left as they have possession in the Carolina zone. But they're really just ringing it around the boards, playing horseshoes at the moment. Got it behind the net. Throws that in front. Great opportunity there. I don't know if that hit a guy in front or if Bussy was able to get in front of that. But the Golden Knights cannot capitalize on that man advantage as Taylor Hall is sprung coming out of the penalty box on the breakaway. And he can't get the shot off as he pretty much just skates into Carter Hart and cannot capitalize on that. 20 seconds left in this first period. It was a great chance in front for Ivan Barbashev, thrown out in front behind the net. And yeah, even on that replay, I don't know if that hit Brandon Bussy, but Taylor Hall streaking out of the penalty box. He had something in mind, and I see what he was trying to do. He just couldn't get the puck off in time. And honestly, even if he did, I think Carter Hart was tracking that very well, as much as I don't like to compliment that man. He tracked that puck well, spread out with his pads, and I think he was going to stop that regardless. So 20 seconds to go here in the first period, folks. We'll do a quick run-through of the chat before I take my intermission break, as the seconds tick away on the clock in the first. Golden Knights have it in the Carolina zone. 10 seconds to try and make something happen here, as they are down 3-1 to open the period. Oh, they score! The Golden Knights just scored with like 1 second left. That's going to count as Braden McNabb, old birdcage, puts it in the back of the net. That's all right. I'm going to need to see I'm going to need to see something there. Rob Brindamore's shaking his head on the bench. So I don't think they're going to challenge or anything. Looks clear as John Tortorella, the Knights head coach, heads down the tunnel. Okay, the play is under review now. I don't think that made it in, man. The clock doesn't move. They've already hit zeros when the puck goes in the net. So they're going to talk to the Situation Room in Toronto, see what they have to say. But based on what Sportsnet is able to show us, I don't think that goal is going to count, man. And that was a very quick decision. Here has what the ref has to say. No goal is the word of the refs, and I will try and hide my smile as I deduct a goal on my score bug from the Vegas Golden Knights. Wow, what a way to end the period. What a way. Incredible stuff there. I could have sworn that was in, but by the time the Knights were celebrating and the graphic came up on the Sportsnet score bug, the period lights were already green. So, I'm glad they reviewed that. So, we're going to head to first intermission. Shots are 14-6 for the Hurricanes as they hold a 3-1, almost 3-2, but 3-1 lead after 20. Let's take a look at our chat, see what people are saying before I head off for a little bit of an intermission break. But don't worry, I'll be back before the second period begins, and we can just hang out for a bit for the first intermission. Let's see, what are we talking about in chat? Not Gam says Knights wouldn't be here without Samsonov. Ilya Samsonov. Leafs legend. Golden Knights legend. I think where is he playing now? Middleburg, Magnitogorsk, I think. In the KHL, say that name 10 times fast. Shouts out, not Gam though, with the Garrus Vakarian profile picture. Love Mass Effect. Yalvert says, wow, and Olivia says, oh, wow. I'm assuming that's in reaction to the disallow Golden Knights go, and that is my reaction as well. Oh, wow, is what I have to say to that entire first period, as I'm going to go ahead and take my first break of the evening. I'll be back here. What time is it? It is 9:02 my time. Set your clocks, folks. I'll be back at 9:10 10 to hang out with you for a bit before we get back into the second period of this absolutely exciting game so far. So I'll see you all in about 8 minutes' time. Welcome back, everyone. If you decided to stick around, welcome back. Getting, notifications here from my YouTube studio. Oh well. Saying that my audio's messy. Do you guys find my audio to be a little messy? Keep in mind that I have a, what's the polite term? A brick for a computer. This is fun so far. Hope you're all enjoying. Hope you're all liking the setup we got here. Had more than a handful of people come in this stream. It's good to see. It's exciting. All right. Now let's try something out here. Let's start a poll. Yeah, let's try that. We're going to start a poll here in the chat. Going to try this out and see if it works. Because who doesn't like voting? You should always exercise your right to vote. I'm going to ask you guys if you think Carolina's going to blow this lead, because every team so far throughout the series has blown their lead. In all 3 games, a lead has been blown. So you're voting on. So the question is, does Carolina blow this lead? And your voting options are yes, no, and what's a funny answer? Here's a funny answer for you. Alright. So that poll's going to be going up probably in a couple seconds here as soon as I figure out how to make it work. There we go. You should have a poll coming through very soon in the live chat. Does Carolina blow this lead? Yes, no, and Nixon 5. Is that good? Do we like that? Alright. In the chat here, Sean says, I'll vote, but not Liberal. I vote Green Party. Actually, no, I vote Bloc Québécois. Actually, what I do is I don't talk politics while I'm live streaming, because I've seen people fall into that trap before. So they're talking right now on the broadcast. Elliot Friedman and David Amber are chatting with Albert Smits, an available prospect in the upcoming draft. And they're talking about some of the weird things that teams had players do in interviews. I don't know if anyone heard about this, but apparently Montreal was they were giving players a puck and asking them to throw the puck in the trash can on the other side of the room. Apparently the New York Islanders, and this is a severely messed up one, the New York Islanders asked players if you could choose, or if you had to choose, rather, between saving your firstborn child or your mother from a burning building, who would you choose? What? That's messed up. Beyond messed up. There's so many weird stories like that. Like, I recall Sidney Crosby talked one time when he had a draft interview, and I can't remember what team asked him this, but somebody asked him, if you could take a pill that guaranteed you 1 Olympic gold and 1 Stanley Cup, but your career only lasts 5 years, and you only win 1 of each, would you take it? And Crosby had a phenomenal answer, to be fair. I think Crosby's answer was something like, no, I'm not taking it because I plan on winning more than 1 of both of those. And he did. And he did. That man has 3 Stanley Cups to his name and 2 Olympic gold medals. Should have been more than that, but we saw what happened. Crazy, crazy stuff. I'm going to look up a couple of these draft stories because they're unreal. Absolutely unreal. I think my favorite one, and I'm definitely misremembering it here, but a player by the name of Terry Ryan, who was drafted 4th overall by the Montreal Canadiens. Some of you out there might know him better as Ted Hitchcock, Hitch from Shoresy. When he interviewed, I want to say it was with the Islanders. We got Hitch fans in the chat. There we go. When I think it was the Islanders, but yeah, don't quote me on this. I'm definitely getting part of this story wrong. The GM said, "All right, you're out at the bar with your team, and your curfew is 11:30, and it's 11 right now. Prettiest girl in the world comes up to you at the bar, and she wants to take you home back to her apartment. You're not going to make it back. If you go with her, you're not going to make it back to curfew in time. What do you do?" And Terry Ryan thought about it for a sec, and he said, "I go with her, I stay for about 4 minutes, and I climb in the window of my hotel room and hope Coach didn't notice." It got a laugh out of the executives in the room, and then they kindly asked him to leave the room, because that was not the answer they wanted to hear. And, based Terry Ryan. That is a certified Hitch moment. Love to see that out of our boy. I'm going to look up a couple of these draft stories because they're absolutely unreal. Some of these draft interview questions that get asked. What do we got here? We've got, here we are, from Blue Line Station. Bizarre questions at the NHL Combine have become an absolute circus. Okay, apparently Caleb Malhotra, who is an eligible player in this year's draft, and the son of Manny Malhotra, the recently named head coach of the Vancouver Canucks, was asked, "Would you kill for water?" If you were on a desert island with no fresh water for a day, but the person next to you had a water bottle, would you kill that person for their bottle? Wow. So, would you commit murder for hydration? That's something, I guess. Oh my. What are some other silly, silly questions we've got here? You know, we might not have time. We might have to wait and talk a bit more about that insanity at second intermission, because the second period is coming up here in a moment. So I'm going to change my scorebug now. Boom, second period coming up, 20 minutes on the clock as the players are settling in for the opening face-off of the middle frame here in Game 4. So, do you think the Golden Knights got a talking to from John Tortorella there? I think they got a bit of a wake-up call. Probably a bit of a... Definitely got some choice words were said. We know how John Tortorella had... Him and his colorful language. That man has such a mastery of the English lexicon. Second period underway here, folks. Vegas outscores Carolina 7-1 in the second period of this series so far. We'll see if that holds true in this frame here over the next 19 minutes and 39 seconds. Hurricanes have control for the time being. So they've got the puck in the Vegas zone. But Vegas now the breakout. Errant pass for Mitch Marner there. Haven't heard his name a whole lot tonight, which is uncommon. Sorry, I'm burping now. I shouldn't be drinking a carbonated drink. Haven't heard too much of Mitch Marner's name tonight. Bit shocking. I'm sure he'll turn the Jets up a little bit some point this game. I would be shocked if he's held off the score sheet. I know he's got an assist already, but secondary assist, I think. Could be a primary. I don't know. I will double check that, but I would be surprised if Marner walks away from tonight's game without a goal. Good pace so far in this second period. Lots of puck moving. Granted, we're a minute in, but no whistle so far. Let's see with that Marner goal. Marner does not have an assist on the Mark Stone goal. Could have sworn he did. But no, the assist belonged to Shea Theodore and Braden McNabb. That's Theodore's 11th assist of the postseason. Impressive stuff there from the OT hero back in Game 3. And, of course, the secondary assist going to old Birdcage himself, Braden McNabb. It was such an awkward bounce. Puck took off his nose in Game 2. He's lucky he wears a visor. He's lucky he's not Ryan Reeves or Ryan O'Reilly, the guys that avoid the grandfather rule and don't wear a visor. How many guys are left in the league like that? Ryan Reeves, Ryan O'Reilly, I know, who was it? Zach Bogosian does not wear a visor, but has he retired? Feels like a silly question to be asking, but did Zach Bogosian retire? Let's look that up. Zach Bogosian retire? He is not. No, he played for the Wild last year, making $2.5 million a year. If I paid Zach Bogosian $2.5 million a year, I'd quit my job. Let's check the chat out here. I got a duel going on for number one fan in the chat. You know what? I will gladly encourage that. Let's get that chat going, folks. Let's just start sending in some messages. Let's have a fight for number one. Maybe we'll give a prize out to whoever's number one at the end of the night. Sean asks, is that a Coors Original? No, it is not. It is a sapsucker. I said off the top, I'm not sponsored by these guys, although I wish I was. Forgot to get my clock started again. I'm behind. Behind by more than a couple seconds now. Goofy stuff. This is going to be a problem. I got to get someone to control this clock for me. Someone whose job is to just watch this clock. Because it is getting annoying to keep track of. Shots aren't so bad. The shots are few and far between in this game so far. 15-6 in favor of the Carolina Hurricanes. Carter Hart, 7-2 record. 2.24 goals against at home in these playoffs. That is good. That's good. Carolina's winning the face-offs tonight, 13-8 in the dot. Carolina's always been a pretty good face-off team. They're a good possession team in general. As there's a blistering shot from the point there by a Kane. Found its way through to Carter Hart, but that got patted away. Sebastian Aho throws a puck on net. Looked like it could have dribbled through there. There was enough traffic in front. Alas, nothing. Lots of back and forth in this game, but still throughout this period, we're 4 minutes in. The Vegas Golden Knights can't set up too much in the offensive zone. Fans are buzzing about something here. I think Ivan Barbashev took a big hit. Let's take a look. Oh, no, not a hit. Bit of a slash. Right in front of a referee, no less. No call. Definitely an argument. It could be called. Not surprised the whistles are going away here in the Stanley Cup Final. Refs are only going to call Small stuff, really. And they're going to call that puck drop back. Ref didn't like it. I hate when refs do that. I mean, I get it, but I hate when the refs just fake dropping the puck just to kick a guy out. Just get going already. We don't need the pomp and circumstance. Drop the puck, let's play hockey. As Canes, with another face-off win, break out of their own zone. Knights now. That was a nifty bit of puck work from Mitch Marner, and the Golden Knights score. It's now a 3-2 game. We said off the top of the period about them outscoring the Hurricanes, what was it, 7-1 in the second period of this series? And there you go. I think that was William Karlsson who's going to get credit for the goal. But most of the setup there comes from Mitch Marner fighting off two different defenders. Puck goes around the back of the net, out in front to William Karlsson. Impressive stuff as Rasmus Andersson. Marner carries it in. Again, fights off two defenders, passes off to Rasmus Andersson, who finds William Karlsson in front to beat Brandon Bussey. And folks, we have ourselves quite the game here. 3-2. So we've already hit my prediction. I said, technically I'm wrong. I said 3-2, but I said it would be in overtime. And it is very clearly not that. We're not even halfway through the game. We're about 5 minutes in here to the second period. So we've obviously got another high-scoring affair on our hands in this one. So Marner finally gets on the scoreboard here. Told you he would. With an assist, secondary assist on that William Karlsson goal. And that's not good, because I just lost my game feed. So who knows what we're talking about. There it is. Sportsnet's back. Don't you just love using the Bell app in your web browser? Shouts out 5TV for only working sometimes. Let's check out the chat. Yalfred says, I told you the comeback begins. Yeah, well, I wouldn't be shocked. I would not be shocked. There's been a series of comebacks, man. This would just be the fourth game to feature one. Canes send that one down into the Vegas zone just to come back the other way. Sissons with some great edge work there. Sorry about that. Woo! Puck comes out. And that one, looked like the puck went over the glass for a second, but Rasmus Andersson recollects it in his own zone just to send it up. Lots of back and forth with the puck here. Long passes happening. Impressive stuff is Jordan Stahl with some insane forecheck, going for the hit he didn't have to. Jack Eichel now carries the puck. Knocked off in the corner in the Carolina zone. And now the Canes looking for a breakout as Andrei Svechnikov has the puck. I said it before, man. I'll say it again. You cannot say that you're bored watching this series. All 4 games, I'll include this one, all 4 games so far have been very fun hockey to watch. You cannot... I don't know how you can look at this series. If you know nothing about hockey, I don't know how you can look at this series and not come away from it a fan. It's too... I don't want to say smaller markets in the NHL, but not the ones we would typically think of as big fan bases. You know, Vegas, still a very young team. Next year is their 10th anniversary. It's weird to think about that the Vegas Golden Knights have now been around a decade. I remember the day that, not the day they came into the league, the day they were announced. I'm not going to say that makes me feel old, but that does make me feel old. Someone reminded me of that the other day, that the Golden Knights are coming up on a decade in the league, and I felt my bones creak. So there's that. Chat's picking up a little here. Knockgam says, evil hockey team. I have to agree there, man. Vegas has no fans except Gary Bettman, making them not a small market team. Very, very true. As this not a small market team gets into pushing and shoving in front of their own net. And the refs are sending everyone to timeout. And they're going to head to a TV timeout. Get some commercials going here. Rogers got to make their money. You're absolutely right, Knockgam. Vegas, I can't say I've ever met a Vegas Golden Knights fan. Not that anyone would readily admit that. I think... and they pack their barn with people. There's obviously Vegas fans in Vegas, but I think a lot of it has to be tourists, right? And, lately Vegas hasn't seen a lot of... apparently Vegas tourism is not doing well. It's really just it's not a destination anymore. It's not for normal people, for lack of a better term. It's for the rich. Vegas is an experience place for the rich to go on vacations and things. And I think that's all you really see in the Golden Knights barn. I think it's a lot of people that bought jerseys on their way in, just want to go to a hockey game, want to feel part of something, and good on them. If they want to get involved in hockey, I'm not going to say no to more hockey fans, but I definitely think the ratio of true Golden Knights fans in that barn is weird. Chat's buzzing again. Yalvert says, good night, it's past my bedtime. All right. Good to see you, Yalvert. Knockgam again. Tourists or people trapped there after they lost their money. That's true as well. People that gamble away everything and don't have a way out. But Vegas tourism is definitely down. I read somewhere, I think I read an article that they're going to accept the Canadian dollar as equal, 1-to-1, with the US dollar for a little bit to try and encourage Canadians coming through to Vegas, which I don't know about you guys. I personally don't want to go to the States right now. Doesn't matter where you're going. And it's being reflected in a lot of things in Vegas, not just the tourism, but events. I know, just as an example, WrestleMania this year was in Vegas, and their numbers were very much down from last year, when it was also in Vegas. Both events took place at Allegiant Stadium, home of the Las Vegas Raiders, and the year-by-year comparison was not good. Granted, it wasn't as good of an event this year, but people didn't know that going in when they bought their tickets, did they? All right. Wow, I can't believe it took, what was it, 2 hours? We've been at this about 2 hours. It took that long to get a wrestling reference out of me. That is astounding. Knockgame says it's for political reasons that tourism is down. I can't disagree. I cannot disagree. I was in Buffalo in January, just briefly, just overnight, to go to a Sabres game, actually. Not a lot of Canadians there when Sabres games are usually mostly Canadians. I will give them this, though. They sang that "Oh Canada" like their lives depended on it. I'll respect them for that. So we've got 11 and a half left here in the second period. Vegas applying a lot of pressure. They just had a great chance with a puck whistled wide of the net past Bussy. Someone just tried to put Jankowski into the Vegas bench. That's awesome. Leave that man alone. All right. Jack Eichel now fighting off 5 Hurricanes as his teammates look for a change. Puck floats on goal, and now Carolina trying to get it out, make something happen. See if they can. back and forth continues here. Lots of exchanging of the puck in the neutral zone, breakup of those long stretch passes. Both teams are really trying to, especially this period I've noticed, both teams are really trying those stretch passes, those longer pass attempts, try and set something up fast. And I think they're both noticing each other's strats there and trying to break up those passes in the neutral zone before anything can happen. I'm falling behind here on my shot counter. I need to add one for both teams. It's 17-7 for Carolina now. Not only the lead on the scoreboard, but the shot clock as well. As we now reach 10 minutes left in the second period, the exact halfway point of this game. That is, if we don't go to overtime, which I still maintain we will. This has been way too evenly matched of a game for them to not go to overtime again. This would be the third game in a row if they go to overtime. I love nothing more than playoff overtime hockey, especially if the Leafs aren't involved. If the Leafs are involved, I hate it because I have heart palpitations. But if the Leafs aren't involved, it's the most exciting sports out there. And I will maintain that. I think the only thing you could maybe put up against it is a penalty shootout in a World Cup final. There you go, there's a World Cup reference. That's a topical event, FIFA World Cup, coming up later this week, happening in Canada. That's going to be exciting. Unless you live in Toronto or Vancouver and your city gets overrun by tourists and crazy people, especially in Toronto where the transit system doesn't work, right? Crazy, crazy stuff. I'm excited for FIFA, though. Never used to like soccer too much, but really grew an appreciation for it recently. And I am excited to see how this World Cup turns out, especially Canada's chances in their group. You know, we're up against Switzerland, who a lot of soccer experts have considered, football experts, sorry, have considered the heavy favorite to win Group B. And then Bosnia and Herzegovina and Qatar as well. A lot of people agree Qatar is going to come out the bottom of that group, and it's really a race between Canada and Bosnia to take that second place spot and guarantee themselves a spot in the round of 32. So that game this Friday, Canada's opening contest no less, is going to be even more important as it is against Bosnia. What makes it difficult for us, however, is we're without our captain, Alphonso Davies. He's out with an injury. He's expected to play later in the tournament, is my understanding, but we're going to be without him for the opening contest. Good amount of people in the stream right now. More than I expected. This is really quite something. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. And definitely an encouragement to maybe do this again for Game 5 or 6, 7, if we make it that far. I'm really having fun. Chat's going again. Not Gam says, not really looking forward to it as I work downtown. You know, that's fair. That is, like I said, I can see if you actually live in Toronto, especially the downtown core, not getting too hyped for the World Cup. It's going to be packed. And I read somewhere, and I really hope this is incorrect information, it sounds wrong, that they're not allowing parking at BMO Field, where the games in Toronto are happening. I hope that's incorrect, because if they want everyone to take transit there, whether by GO Train or by TTC, that's a horrible idea. Super Abby says, yeah. Oh, man. Sorry, the game's back underway. I got so focused on yapping with everybody, completely forgot we got a hockey game to talk about. That is the reason we're all together here. There's a big hit there by Nick Dowd. Takes down a Hurricanes player. I didn't see who, as the Canes are now shouting at Dowd. And I think he's going to get the gate for that one. It was Logan Stankoven took that hit. Let's take another look at it. Stankoven, that's a weird one. It's kind of on the numbers. And I wouldn't so much say on the numbers, actually. Now that they've shown a different angle of that's a bit of a cross-check to the head. Wow, I think Nick Dowd's off to the box there, folks. Yeah, Stankoven stops up along the boards to try and collect the puck. I think Nick Dowd's trying to give him a shove in the shoulder, but ends up giving him the shaft of his stick right into the jaw. It's unfortunate. So the Canes go back to the power play where they are 50% tonight. They've had 2 attempts and capitalized on 1. Captain Jordan Stahl is out there. He's got a goal under his belt tonight. And the Canes are back in their zone. Gostisbehere trying to regroup. Hopefully make something happen here as the Hurricanes break out to center. Okay, here's an interesting question for you all. If the Hurricanes capitalize on this power play, if they're able to make it 4-2 here so early in the second, do you think that takes the wind out of Vegas' sails? Because certainly over the last little bit, Vegas has seemed the more dangerous team. It's been a lot of plays through the neutral zone, but Vegas is definitely getting a few more attempts. A lot of Carolina's attempts have just been shots from the point, not very high danger chances. But if Carolina can score here in the next minute with this man advantage, do you think that seals the deal for Vegas? Do you think that knocks off their momentum? What do you guys think? Olivia says, walked away and Vegas scored. Well, stop walking away then. What are you doing? Stick around and watch. Not Gam. That better be incorrect as there's no definitive subway stop at BMO. That's true, actually. I didn't even think of that. Streets, there's going to be a lot of streetcars and a lot of buses, people trying to get there. There is other parking down there at the X grounds. You know, you got Medieval Times there, Coca-Cola Coliseum. What else is there? Enercare Center, the convention center. So there are parking options if it's specifically BMO they're not letting people park at. But still, if that's true, a very weird decision. Olivia says, true, my fault. Yeah, that is your fault. What are you doing walking away? Vegas scored because of you, and Carolina didn't capitalize on that power play because of you. They only got 1 shot on goal. Nobody walk away from their computer. Everybody stay right here. Stay right here and enjoy the stream, as we've got about 6 minutes left in the second. 3-2 Carolina. Jack Eichel had a great chance there, but I don't even think he got the shot off before Bussy froze it and got the whistle. The Canes tried a very similar play to the Jordan Stahl goal on that power play, with Gostisbehere just kind of lofting one from the point, but couldn't quite get through. Not the right kind of traffic in front of the net. Face-off coming up here in the Hurricane zone. I got to dock a shot from the Hurricanes. Come on, Sportsnet, you're killing me here. Absolutely killing me. And Carolina wins yet another face-off tonight as they race down the ice into the Vegas zone, trying to make something happen here. There was 6 minutes left, just under 6 minutes rather, in the middle frame here in Game 4. Golden Knights breaking out there, trying to make something happen. Got a delayed penalty coming And it's going to go against the Canes. So the Golden Knights on the power play again. Interference call against the Canes. Rod Brindamore does not look happy. So Jordan Martinook is off to the box. Oh, that's a weird... Yeah, he's trying to give the guy a bear hug. Going for a... He grabbed his legs there, trying to put him in the figure four, the Bret Hart sharpshooter. What are you thinking, Martinook? Unreal play there. All right. So we're going to take a TV timeout as we get set for another Vegas power play. And they did not capitalize on their previous power play in this game. See if they can do it here and tie things up. Face-off percentage is more even than I realized. 29 face-offs so far. And it's 17-12 for Carolina. I thought it was a little more lopsided than that. It just feels like they've been winning a lot of face-offs there. But hits are definitely evening out. You got Vegas 25-21. Vegas still with a lot of giveaways, 13-9 in favor. Well, really not in favor of the Golden Knights. What's happening here in chat, folks? Olivia's apologizing to Jarvie. And Abby's got beef with Olivia. Uh-oh. We're fighting in the chat, I see. Knockgam says, I do not trust Carolina at all. I know them as the team that loses the conference finals every year. This is unknown territory. That's very true. It's got to be surreal for them finally breaking through, especially those guys that have been here quite some time. Stahl, Martinook, Svechnikov, even Brindamore as a coach. It's got to be exciting but daunting for them. Going into game one, they talked about that, the excited nerves they had about finally cracking through to the finals. As the game is back here, someone broke a stick already on the play. Looks like it was Jordan Stahl. So you got a defender without a stick as the Golden Knights are just playing keep away. Marner at the point on this man advantage. I like that Vegas is smart enough to deploy him there. I know the Leafs did that from time to time, even putting him there on the penalty kill. Marner is such a fantastic defensive forward. Amazing penalty killer for all of his offensive talents as well. Finally, Vegas takes a shot. Not quite what I would call a dangerous chance, but certainly something. And Vegas plays keep away once again. They're just having passing drills at the moment. Someone needs to take a shot. They've only got one shot on goal, despite having possession for the entire 1 minute 10 seconds so far. Tried to make a pass a couple seconds ago there, and it bounced off the broken stick of Jordan Stahl, who is still out there just trying to create space with his body. As he dove in front of that shot, but it got between his legs and made its way through to Brandon Bussey. But now the puck comes out to the Vegas zone as they regroup with 25 seconds left on this man advantage. Trying to make something happen here. See if they can generate a bit of offense. 14 seconds left on this Vegas man advantage. Carolina clears it, and I think that's going to just about do it for that power play. So Vegas is now 0 for 2 on the evening with only 2 shots on that power play, despite having possession in the offensive zone for a good chunk of it as well. Carolina ices the puck with 3:31 to go. All right. Crack another sapsucker here because I have an addiction. These are good, man. I encourage you guys to try them out. They're really, really nice. Can you tell I'm begging for a sponsor? Please email Sapsucker. Give them my name. Link them this stream. Say, hey, pay this idiot. Please. Vegas winning that face-off to maintain possession in the Carolina zone. Carlson now working on his edge work as he tries to get away from Sebastian Aho in the corner. They're digging at each other. Lots of board battles in this series. That's been a very exciting thing as well. Not so much a fan when they just hang the puck up on the boards, but board battles are always a good sign of intensity in a playoff game. Whoa! What a goal there! Game tied. Vegas Golden Knights make it 3-3. Who was that? That was a wild shot there. I did not even see who put the puck in. That was Brett Howden. Wow. Brett Howden with his 14th of the playoffs. I should not be surprised. I guess Yelvert left the chat already, but well, they called it. Vegas completing the comeback. That was some goal. And I hate to say it, I think Bussy should have had that one. That was in a weird angle shot, and it's not a knock on Howden, but it wasn't anything special, I suppose, is the word I want to use. Bussy really should have had that shot, and he just couldn't track it down. So with that goal, Brett Howden, his 14th, that is now the most goals in a single postseason in Vegas Golden Knights history. Coming into tonight, he was tied with Jonathan Marchessault in the 2023 playoffs when they won the Cup. And now with his 14th, Howden has the franchise record on a 4-game point streak, no less. Good for him. Gonna have to reset the clock a little there. Another false drop of the puck. Goodness, I hate that. Here we go. Tie game. So the shots are very much not even. 21-11 for the Hurricanes. But we are all tied up in the dying minutes of the second period. 3-3 game here in Game 4. Wow. And you can feel it on this ice. The momentum is very much in the favor of the Vegas Golden Knights as they are back on the attack as we approach the 2-minute warning here. Unreal. Are you awake yet? This is some exciting hockey, man. Love it. Good stuff. Wow. Now here comes Mitch Marner trying to spin around, and he got knocked on his ass. That was kind of funny, I can't lie. I did take a bit of sick enjoyment from that as the Hurricanes... Ooh, wow. Canes crashed the net, literally crashing into Carter Hart. And now the ref's waving people around. I think we're going to get offsetting penalties here as Carter Hart has to readjust himself, losing his gloves after going into the back of the net. I think you're going to end up with offsetting, I don't know, roughing calls there. I don't even know what. So Jackson Blake, I don't know what he ended up with, but Braden McNabb is going off for a cross-check, a very blatant cross-check, no less. And we have ourselves some 4-on-4 hockey. So McNabb goes off for cross-checking, and Blake goes off for goaltender interference. You know, that's a good way to put it. That is a very fair assessment. So some 4-on-4 hockey. The ice opens up a little bit, which is exactly what this series needed. You know, the series filled with breakaways and crazy plays. Just what we needed is more ice time for these players. As 2 minutes of 4-on-4 with only 1:30 to go in the second. So we will be starting the third period with the game 4-on-4. Face off to the left of Carter Hart here. Seth Jarvis comes in to take the face off against William Karlsson. Fascinating that no 2-goal lead has been safe in these finals. Anytime a team has a 2-goal lead, it's gone, man. That's cool stuff. Edge of your seat hockey. Nothing is sacred in these Stanley Cup Finals. Vegas now, they had a bit of a 3-on-2, almost 3-on-3 action there. William Karlsson with a great chance, but he just missed. He's going to try and load back up. We've got 1 minute left here in the second period. Vegas dominating the last stretch of action as they bring it in to the Carolina zone. I almost said the Florida zone. Ooh, I have PTSD, man. That's unfortunate. The Florida zone. Florida didn't even make the playoffs. I need to give my head a shake. All right. So 45 seconds to go here in the second period. What's going to happen at the end of the period is exact same as first intermission. I'm going to check the chat, see what everyone's got to say, take a little bit of a break for myself, stretch my legs, and then I'll come back right before the beginning of the third. We can all have a bit of a stop and chat, and then settle in for what's going to be there's no other word than unpredictable. An unpredictable third period. So, 20 minutes to go. We'll probably go into those 20 minutes tied. Let's get some predictions in the chat for who you think's going to take this one. Do you guys think we're going to overtime now? Do you think I was right? Who's going to take this period? As we got just half a minute to go here as we play some 4-on-4 hockey. Nick Ehlers with a great shot there on goal. Shots 22-12. Favor of Carolina. As Carolina circles around their own zone, trying to break out, and they do. Nice shot. Just about done here in the second period. Let's call it. There it is. All right, so they're going to head to the locker rooms. Tied. Vegas certainly with the momentum, and we'll come back out for the third tie game. 30 seconds of 4-on-4 action. Exciting. Super exciting. All right, let's see what's going on in the chat, man. What's everyone got to say? Chris says, love your channel. I know you took a break, but I hope you keep it up. Also, is Hammer Hockey a Hamilton reference? It isn't. No. Hammer Hockey is my nickname. When I played hockey, my nickname was Hammer. Sean says, Howden has been the hardest working player of this series. No question. Oh, and perhaps the playoffs too. Yeah, man. Juicy Mango, good to see you in the chat here, man. JJ Lugnut says, Hammer equals him. Thank you, JJ. Olivia says, no overtime. Canes will take the lead and win this thing 4-3. Juicy Mango says, overtime for sure. Super Abby says, let's crash the live stream. That's wild. Please don't. Oh no. Cottonheady Nitty Muggins is your nickname. You know, that's fair, man. I am a Cottonhead Nitty Muggins. And what this Cottonhead Nitty Muggins is going to do is take a quick break. So it is 10 o'clock on my end. I'm going to go stretch my legs for a bit, grab a quick snack. Suggest y'all do the same. And I will be back at, let's call it 10:10. Let's take a 10-minute break here. Oh, one more thing in the chat. Sean H. says, what's the jersey? The jersey is the Halifax Highlanders from the movie Goon. Got big 6'9" on the shoulder there. Don't know if I can do a full rotation in this chair. But we're repping Doug the Thug Glatt on the back, played by Sean William Scott in that movie. Great movie. One of my favorites, actually. So yeah, it's about 10 o'clock for me. I'll be back at 10:10 with a quick 10-minute break. And we'll come back right before the start of the third, just to hang out for a bit, get some chats in. I'll see you all then. And we're back. Settled in here. Third period is approaching. Alright, what we got in the chat here, folks? Laval P says the Hurricanes are not getting the saves they need. Weakened goal. I'd have to agree. Like I said on that tying goal out of the Golden Knights, Bussy should have had that. It was a great shot from Howden, but I don't see there's no excuse for Bussy to not have that one. JJ Lugnut says, "What'd you get for a snack?" I had some watermelon, man. It was very good. It's very good. Just the kind of fuel I need for an exciting third period and quite possibly OT. So I guess this poll that we've got in the chat is a little outdated because the Hurricanes did, in fact, blow that lead. Got 17 people voting on it. 47% said yes, they would. 35% said no. And 18% said Knicks in 5. Shuts out Knicks. Let's get a new poll going. What do we got here? Do we want to do a new poll, or do we want to just let the chat ride? I say we let the chat ride. We need to vote. Who needs democracy when you can just speak your mind, right? Let's do it like that. Do it as our ancestors intended, to voice your opinion in a YouTube chat in front of 14 people? Just as they did it in the pioneer days. Juicy Mango says, "You're on my speaker. That scared me. I'm sorry, man. Sorry. I warned you. I said 10:10. We'll be back. We'll be back to hang out before the game starts up again." On 10:10, I was here. Where were you? Clearly not ready. Clearly not prepared for my beautiful voice to boom out of your speaker. All right. So we're going to come back to the game with 30 seconds of 4-on-4 action. It's exciting stuff. 4-on-4 didn't quite open up the opportunities that I anticipated it would with all that open ice. Still good to see, though. Love a bit of 4-on-4 action. Just so long as there's no 3-on-3 action in the playoffs, I'm alright with it. Take notes, Olympics. I'm still salty about how that went down. Gold medal game against the States, but whatever. We ball. Speaking of which, I don't know if anyone's unfamiliar, but they announced the All-Star Game format for next year. Very cool stuff, as we have another international tournament on our hands. It's going to be a day-long 3-on-3 tournament. 5 teams. Canada, USA, Sweden, Finland, and rest of world. Quite possibly including Russian players as well. There's going to be a skills competition as well on the Saturday of the All-Star Weekend for players 25 and younger, which I believe they're going to call the Kucherov rule, after Nikita Kucherov just absolutely hated the skills comp a couple years ago at the Toronto All-Star Game. And then on the Sunday, yes, the international 3-on-3 tournament, a round robin between those 5 teams, with the teams with the 2 teams with the best records playing a final, which is an interesting call. A good warm-up. I love the focus on international hockey. I think the league is certainly anticipating another Canada versus USA final after that did so well for them at the Four Nations face-off that crushed so many viewership records in both America and Canada. Still not the most viewed game in Canadian hockey history, though. The most viewed game in Canadian hockey history is still the gold medal game of the Vancouver 2010 Olympics, when Sidney Crosby did what Sidney Crosby does best, and he Sidney Crosby'd all over the ice. Oh my. It's a visceral mental image. So the broadcast is coming back on my end, for those of you that aren't able to watch the game, broadcast is back and they're getting set for the game, for the third period here. Should be good. Should be a lot of fun here. Get those predictions in chat. I'll ask you again. Are we heading to overtime? What's happening here? 20 minutes ago, we're tied at 3. Are we heading to OT? That rhymed. Album coming out next summer. How long have we got till the third period starts? Oh, like right now. It's going to start right now. I was going to say we could play a bit of a Q&A game. People drop some questions in chat. But no time. We're ready to go here. At least that's what NHL.com says. NHL.com says we're dropping the puck imminently, but allegedly not. Alright, here we are. Players are lining up 4 aside as we've got 30 seconds of 4-on-4 action left after the offsetting penalties to Jackson Blake and Braden McNabb after a scuffle in front of the net. They'll hop out of the box, 5-on-5 for probably not the remainder of the period. I can see a few more penalties happening here and there. But what a great period ahead of us as the puck drops. And we are underway in the third period now. As Vegas controls the puck in their own zone. Probably just trying to kill time on that 4-on-4. Maybe not, as they tried to get it over the Carolina zone, but now the Hurricanes back the other way. And they're playing a bit of back and forth with the puck now as Blake and McNabb come out of the box. Back to 5-on-5 hockey. Carolina still dominating the shots, an 11-shot advantage. Shot count is 23-12 in favor of the Canes in this 3-3 tie here in Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Final. I keep forgetting that this is going to be kept as a VOD on my channel after the fact. I set the settings to do that, so I gotta mind what I say, because it's not just gonna disappear into the ether of the internet, right? People can get receipts, cancel me. I'm gonna say something controversial, like what's something inflammatory I can say right now? I can't even think of something. My mind went blank. Whatever. Not that I want to say something controversial. Would be bad. There we go again, forgetting to pause my game clock after Carter Hart froze the puck there. We're all good though. And I need to give the Golden Knights another shot. 23-13. They now only trail by 10. Good for them. Lining up now for face-off to the left of Carter Hart. And again, another fake puck drop. I know I've said it a bunch tonight, but I hate when refs do that. Now they're kicking guys out of the circle. What are we doing here? Face-offs are 20-16 for Carolina. Shot attempts 41-32 for Carolina. Oh, wow. And a Golden Knight just crashed into the end boards. Looked like Keandre Miller launched him in. He's shaking his head no. And, oh my. So Miller is off to the box, and the Golden Knights will get another. Ooh, what did they call that? Did they call that a trip? Because they're gonna call it a trip as Keandre Miller takes down a Golden Knight, I still don't know who, into the boards. What could have been a very scary collision. But his stick just got tripped up. I do not think that was intentional at all, but one of those things that you have to call. So, the Golden Knights back on the power play. They are 0 for 2 tonight with only 4 shots through those 2-man advantages. And they're not going to get one anytime soon, as that's launched down the ice. Now, Mitch Marner coming up under the shadow of the scoreboard as the Golden Knights try and set up this man advantage, bobbling it at the blue line. Someone just lost their stick. Didn't even break, it just fell out of his hand. It's unfortunate. Here the Golden Knights go. Now they're set up in the zone. Picking up a few shots as well. Playing tic-tac-toe. And they can't beat Bussy as Dorofeev tried to get a shot on goal. But Bussy got the blocker up. Remember, folks, Brandon Bussy is a southpaw goaltender. He wears his blocker on the left side. Very different. I can't think of too many other goaltenders in the league hold their stick that way. Hurricanes clear it once again. Under a minute to go in this man advantage for the Golden Knights, as they're trying to set back up in their own zone. 30 seconds left on the power play. Hoping to get a last gasp, another attempt to prevent themselves from going 0-3 on the power play tonight. That would not be good. Now the Hurricanes with possession, as they're going to break out. Probably just to kill the clock. A shot on goal by the looks of things. But puck rings around. And now the Golden Knights are right back the other way with a 3-on-2 no less. I think that was Shea Theodore with a pretty good shot attempt. Couldn't get it through though, and the penalty will expire. 0 shots on that power play. 0 shots on goal, I should say, for the Golden Knights. Yeah, just about 16 minutes. 4 minutes gone by here in the third. And while, yes, they've been on the power play for most of it, the Golden Knights are dominating this final frame of Game 4. Back to 5 aside now, so we'll see if the Hurricanes have some sort of response in hand. Shots 23-15 here as we pass the 16-minute mark of the period. Golden Knights breaking out of their own zone. Once again, I feel like I've said that a lot this period. Side effect of a power play that keeps getting iced. Puck's ringing around in the Carolina zone now as they try a sauce pass high in the air. And now Carrier's bringing it into the zone. He backhands that, and it's gloved out of the air by Carter Hart. Good stuff here in this period, man. Good stuff. Definitely a little more low energy so far compared to the second period, especially from the Golden Knights. Considering how they ended the second period, to come out here in the third with that power play, I'm not seeing a lot of jump in the step of Vegas, I have to say. Carolina, the same, not a lot of urgency, but they were just on the penalty kill. We'll see if they wake back up a little. This is now a race for the puck down into the Carolina zone, and it's won by William Karlsson. He takes possession, so he's got that behind the Carolina net. That guy's been all over the place. I think William Karlsson heard what I had to say. In the preview video I did for this series, and again in the video I put out just the other day, talking about games 1, 2, 3, I don't want to say I criticized William Karlsson, but I definitely pointed out that I hadn't heard too much from the guy throughout this series. I needed a bit more energy from him. I hadn't heard his name so much from the commentators, and he has been all over this game so far. He's got a goal under his belt. I keep seeing his sweater flying around, the number 71, getting busy in gold as the Golden Knights bring it into the zone. Jack Eichel trying to split the defenders. Ooh, and a great chance there as that one just passed by Bussey. He didn't even know where the puck was. Puck's loose in the slot. 3-on-1 there for the Golden Knights. Canes get away. The Golden Knights with a lot of dangerous chances. The Canes are they're running around scared at the moment, I have to say. As Sebastian Aho shoots and slows things down, tying up with Noah Hannafin and Mark Stone. Wow. Alright, so just as I finished saying things are a little low energy from both teams, we get quite the display right there. Lots of high danger chances, lots of confusion in the slot for the Vegas Golden Knights. And yeah, like I said, the Hurricanes, they're not looking scared right now, but they definitely don't look like they have it together. If this keeps up much longer, if I were Rod Brindamore, I would take a second and settle my boys down, because they don't look all right. Even get the camera settled on Brandon Bussey right now, and he looks more than a little frazzled in his net. Definitely could use some backup from his teammates. Now, we pointed out last period that Vegas outscores Carolina 7-1 in the second period throughout this series, while Carolina outscores Vegas 8-3 in the third throughout this series. The pattern held true last period for Vegas as they were way outscoring Carolina just 20 minutes ago. We'll see if the pattern continues for Carolina. See if they can get a leg up and hopefully prevent overtime, which did not go in their favor last game. Puck settling down in the... Oh, wow! Oh, great chance there for Jordan Staal. He almost had it in front. Oh, my! Jordan Staal just scored a goal as he was falling face first onto the ice. Play that goal graphic. Canes have a 4-3 lead. Wow! There was a great chance there in front at first. I thought it was Staal, but I must be mistaken. It was Seth Jarvis. Seth Jarvis all alone in front with a great opportunity denied by Hart. And then Jordan Staal with a backhander as he's falling to the ice. Carter Hart just got a piece of it, but not enough of a piece of it. Great stuff there from Jordan Staal. And the captain gives the Hurricanes the lead. The Golden Knights are shaking their heads. Shea Theodore, I don't know if that was shaking his head at his teammates or just disbelief. Jordan Staal's fired up on the bench right now. This guy wants it. He wants it bad. As we're now 13 minutes left here in the third period. And the Hurricanes are up 4-3 now. Wow. Lots of back and forth, man. Lots of back and forth on the goals, but that's what we've come to expect from this series. And there's another Hurricane playing the puck while falling face first. These guys just can't seem to stay on their skates. They're tripping over the blue line. Golden Knights now bringing it in. Noah Hannafin with a pretty good shot there, but it was easily blockered away. That is the 7th goal of the playoffs for Staal. Super impressive stuff on a play that was mostly set up, mind you, by Seth Jarvis. That there was some great hand-eye coordination there from Staal. Great timing, but that play doesn't happen without Seth Jarvis and Nikolai Ehlers to tee him up and find him in the slot as he lost his footing. Great, great stuff there. Hurricanes now with possession in the offensive zone, trying to set up, trying to get shot going on goal. Shots are 26-16 in favor of Carolina as they maintain that 10-11 shot lead that they've had for a majority of the game now. Carolina's got a pretty sustained ozone time now, 52 seconds and counting. As the puck's pinned against the boards there by Jordan Martinook. He's fighting off two Vegas defenders, trying to kick it out to the point, set his boys up. And, great shot on goal there from the Canes. They tried to send it back out to the point, but it got past the defenders. Andre Miller now sending that in on the Vegas end. And Vegas coming out now with possession, trying to make a break, but it's broken up by the Canes. Here they go again with those stretch passes. It's always around the middle of the frame that both of these teams, they try and make those stretch passes, either from their blue line into the offensive zone, the dump and chase they're doing. Even there's been a few times now from their own goal line behind the net trying to send it out to beyond center ice. And it works in some instances. When it works, and they give themselves a good, dangerous chance. But when it's not working, it's just broken up immediately and back the other way. I wouldn't know if me personally, I would keep risking plays like that, but if that's what they want to do, that's how both these teams play, and it's gotten them this far. Vegas wins out an icing race there. I don't know what Golden Knights player that was, but he just had a great opportunity and could not capitalize on it. Couldn't even register a shot on goal as Bussy sprawled out to make sure nothing happened. Canes now trying to break out of their own zone with the puck as we reach just about the midway point of the third period here. I don't even know how long it's been without a whistle. I keep checking the clock here. If chat's buzzing, I can't see you guys. I'm sorry, just because of how my setup is. See if I can see some of you now. Oh yeah, chat's buzzing. We'll talk about it in a bit. See if we get a whistle here or a TV timeout. And I can yap with some of you. 9:33 in the third as Vegas breaks out of their own end. Wow, it's really been a minute without a whistle. I was just realizing that my voice was getting sore, and it's because I haven't had a moment to stop yapping and shut my gob. But I guess that's the point of this, right? It's just for me to sit here and yap and for you guys to enjoy the yap. Great chance there from the Golden Knights as they're set up a little bit. There was a shot from the point that couldn't quite make it through to Bussy. So still no shots on goal in the last however long. Taylor Hall almost crashing the net yet again on a partial breakaway. But Carter Hart stops him even though there wasn't much of a shot. And now the Hurricanes trying to make something happen in the Vegas end. Vegas is shutting that down quick, though, and they're back the other way. Curious what the hit count is now. If we check NHL.com. Hits are 34-27 in favor of the Knights. Relatively physical game so far, especially as it's gone on. I've noticed that in this third period, the teams are definitely, the board battles are starting again. They're definitely starting to rub each other out. The Canes have possession in their end, but a huge sauce pass that turns into an icing call. And we finally get a whistle at 7:46 left in the third. What's going on, chat? How you guys doing? What are we talking about here? Alright. Yeah, fall and a goal. The guy who was falling made his goal. Man's maximizing every moment. That is true. Brian Leaf says, awesome goal. What effort. Let's go Carolina. That's right, Brian. That is right. It was a fantastic effort by Jordan Staal. You can just feel how badly this man wants it. He's been captain for how long of the Hurricanes, and to finally lead them here after so much disappointment, so many years in a row in the conference finals. Oh, wow! Huge pileup in front of the Hurricanes' net. Brandon Bussi was sitting on his ass, but he's all right, and it's another icing call against the Hurricanes. Canes can't change. Probably some tired legs there, or at least some wired legs there after a mad scramble in front of Brandon Bussi. Jack Eichel almost knocking in a one-timer there, but just can't quite get it over the pad of Bussi. Golden Knights, though, winning another offensive draw and another dangerous chance. And you got Stone, Marner, and Eichel. Got the hero line out there for the Golden Knights. 7 minutes to go, and Tortorella's pressing the panic button. He's getting his heavy hitters out there and saying, tie this thing up for me, boys. Let's go to OT. Carolina finally gets some fresh legs out there as we reach the 6:50 mark. Almost done here in the third period, unless the Golden Knights have something to say about that. Jacob Slavin with possession in the Carolina zone. That's a name that I haven't heard much tonight, shockingly. Slavin's been all over the previous 3 games. Not a whole lot out of the guy tonight. Did he assist in one of the earlier goals? He did not. Kind of shocks me. Hurricanes now setting up in their zone. Another long stretch pass, because why not? And it goes nowhere. It actually goes onto the stick of Carter Hart, and he passes that out to his boys. And a hand pass stops play. They're going to take us to a TV timeout with just over 5 minutes left to play here in Game 4. Hurricanes with the 1-goal lead, 4-3 the score. Shots are 27-19 for the Canes as they are leading on all fronts. Did you guys hear about with Dylan Larkin, captain of the Detroit Red Wings? Apparently, not only does he want a trade out of Detroit, but he's the Detroit Free Press, I think was the name of the paper, leaked. I don't know how they got their hands on it, but they leaked his 3-team trade list. So Dylan Larkin is one of many players in the National Hockey League with a no-trade clause. You can only send the guy where he wants to go. Some guys have a modified no-trade clause where they have a list of teams they will not go to or a list of teams they will go to. But Dylan Larkin has a full no-trade clause. So any trade involving the man, he has to approve. And now that he wants a trade out of Detroit, he has submitted 3 teams he's willing to go to. And big shocker, they're all playoff contenders. The Minnesota Wild, who made the playoffs this year, getting knocked out in the first round, right? By the Dallas Stars? Second round by the Colorado Avalanche. They beat the Stars, got knocked out by the Avs. Larkin has also chosen the Florida Panthers, who, after an off year this year for a variety of reasons, I fully expect them to be back in the playoff hunt next year. Definitely a contender. And then the last team on that 3-team no-trade list is more than just a contender. It's a team that we're watching right now. It's the Vegas Golden Knights. Dylan Larkin has okayed a trade to the Vegas Golden Knights. Now General Manager Steve Yzerman just has to make some calls and see if he can get rid of his captain, because Dylan Larkin has decided he's given all he can to the Red Wings organization. Broadcast is back here on my end, watching the Sportsnet feed still here in Canada, as they set up for a neutral zone face-off just outside of the Vegas end. And another broken stick from Jordan Stahl. I think I just heard Greg Simpson say that is the third stick that Stahl has broken today. I don't know what stick Stahl uses, but he better switch suppliers. Stop buying those. I want to know what stick this guy uses. Let's go get a Gear Geek. If you ever want to have some fun, waste some time on the internet, GearGeek.com is a database that knows strangely, kind of creepily, knows the equipment of every NHL player. And when I say the equipment, I mean their stick, their skates, their gloves, their helmet, right down to their pants and their visor. It's in partnership with Puckpedia, a great resource that I use all the time when I'm gathering information on my videos. It's got a breakdown of every team's salary cap, every player's contract, who every player's agent is. It's got information on coach contracts as well. It's fascinating. What stick is Jordan Stahl using right now? He's using the Bauer Pulse. Sure. I'm not a Bauer guy. I'm a Sherwood guy, actually. I quite like a good Sherwood stick. I've got a Bauer helmet right now. But Sherwood stick and Sherwood gloves for me, thank you. And in terms of skates, I think I have a pair of old army boots with some kitchen knives strapped to them. I'm borrowing some skates from my uncle right now, and they are... I'll put it like this. They're old enough that they've got the pumps on them. Remember those things? Remember that gimmick? Those were awesome. Did they ever do anything? Those pumps on the bottom of your shoes or your skates? It was supposed to provide cushion or make it like more snug or something, but I never felt it did that. I just liked pressing the button when I was in the store. See all the skates lined up on the rack in Canadian Tire. I would just go in and press the button on the Reeboks, especially the Reeboks. Remember when Reebok made hockey equipment? That was awesome. I'm going to pause my clock there because now they're blowing whistles again because they realize they need to get their the refs got the Iggy that they need to get their commercials in. We went about 10 minutes in the middle there without a whistle. Now we need every whistle under the sun, of course. As they're going to head to another TV timeout here. And we're, barring any unforeseen changes, just about done, folks. What has been a very fun evening and a very fun stream. I hope you've all enjoyed. Kelsey Morrison says, I subscribe to your channel. Thank you very much, Kelsey. Welcome. Today's your birthday. Happy birthday. Kelly Green says 5 minutes left in the third. Carolina for the win. Very true. Ryan Leaf says old style Sherwood sticks like tree trunks. Yes. I use one of those. I have a wooden Sherwood stick. Some people complain about how heavy the Sherwood sticks are, or the wooden sticks in particular are. But I'm a big fan of them. I don't shoot the puck too much. And when I do, it's not accurate. But if I go into the corner with a guy and he's rocking a composite stick, a fiberglass stick, give him a quick whack, his shatters, and I walk away with the puck. It's very simple. It's easy as that. And if you're watching along on Sportsnet right now, here comes that Michael Cera commercial again, where he's a Blue Jays freak. Weren't we all back in the fall, on that run to the World Series? What good fun that was, watching. I think it was very cool to see the entire country become baseball fans. That was a lot of fun. I was watching Game 7 from a Halloween party, and I needed some way to be in costume but also wear a Halloween costume, but also wear a Blue Jays jersey. And I could have just gone as a Jays player. I could have just been like Ernie Clement or someone. But I decided to go one step further, and I went as John Cena wearing a Jays jersey back when he had his old Dr. Thugonomics gimmick, and he would come out in various teams' retro jerseys. That was a lot of fun. That was a good night. That was a very fun night to spend with my friends enjoying Halloween watching that game. Would have been more fun if we won, but whatever. Game's back on now as we're just about to pass the 4-minute mark here in the third period. Desperate times now for the Vegas Golden Knights, as William Karlsson chases down a puck. No icing call on it, but the Canes get it out of the zone, and I think that's going to be an icing call. It's not. It doesn't. It does not reach all the way down to the goal line. That's a stroke of luck for the Canes as they're able to run about 20 seconds off the clock there. And they're just playing keep away at this point. They're just passing the puck back and forth, trying to keep it out of the hands of the desperate Golden Knights. And the Golden Knights recollecting the puck in their own zone, trying their best to make something happen here, try and form a breakout. I think Chatfield's helmet almost just came off. That was a little weird. He spun around on a play, and he lost his bucket. That technically can be a penalty. Obviously, the ref did not call it, but that can be a delay of game penalty for an equipment malfunction. You cannot play without your helmet fastened properly. If you lose your helmet or your glove or your stick, you're technically, well, not your stick, sorry, but if you lose your helmet, you were supposed to go directly back to the bench. And he did, to be fair. Good for Chatfield. 2.5 minutes to go now. Vegas back in their own zone. Shots are 27-20 for Carolina. So Vegas is catching up. For a while there, Carolina had a 12-shot lead, then a 10. Now it's just 7, as they're no longer focused on offense and just want to lock this thing down. Just about 2 minutes to go as the puck is tied up in the neutral zone. The Hurricanes just trying to erase some time off the clock. But Vegas dumps it in, and Brandon Bussey freezes the puck as he's able to catch it in his glove on an awkward bounce off the boards. Good for him. Everyone in this arena has to be just dialed right now, because with this series we know that anything is possible, as Vegas takes a timeout on the play. And I've actually got a thing for that. Look at that. I can put a little timeout score bug. That's awesome. Good stuff. It's a timeout for the Golden Knights as they have a offensive zone face-off that they need to win. .159 on the clock here as we get set to drop the puck for what could be the final moments here in Game 4. Carolina on the verge of tying this series at 2 apiece and make it a best of 3 from here out. So Carter Hart has made his way to the bench. I've got a thingy for that as well. That's cool. I finally get to use those. Empty net for Vegas as they put out the extra attacker. Try and make something happen in the dying moments. Face off to the right of Brandon Bussey. 6-on-5 for Vegas. And they've got all the heavy hitters out there. Eichel, Dorofeev, Marner, Stone, Hurdle. Tomas Hurdle's out there too. Pass broken up by the Canes as they're going to try and lift it out of the zone. It rolls down the ice. And not icing as the Golden Knights now looking for a breakout with 1.5 minutes left to play. Carolina rings it around the boards. That is probably going to be an icing call. It is. As Shea Theodore beats out Seth Jarvis to that puck. So 1:26 to go. Face off back in the Carolina zone. Vegas still with the extra attacker, and I'll be curious. They had all their heavy hitters out there. I'll be curious to see if those guys stay or if they decide to switch up a couple of names as we settle in for the face-off. Again, to the right of Brandon Bussey. Puck dropped. Bit of a tie-up. And Vegas has possession, but it's tied up along the boards. Puck frees up. And yeah, Vegas with possession behind the Carolina net. Trying to make something happen here as it goes out to the point to Jack Eichel. Shea Theodore maintaining. Bussey's down. Puck's loose in front. Ends up back behind the net as it's rung around the boards. Heading on goal, and they're going to score! The Carolina Hurricanes! As the puck takes an awkward bounce, and Nick Ehlers is going to score on the empty net. 5-3 for the Hurricanes with only 54 seconds on the clock. Wow. So Vegas with a really good chance there in front. Lots of chaos. They've been very good at that. Very good at making the Canes defense and Brandon Bussey scramble in front of the net. And then Nick Ehlers rings the puck awkwardly. I think it bounced off a stanchion on the glass. And it just floats right down into the yawning cage left by the disappearance of Carter Hart. Canes now with a 2-goal lead. Carter Hart still on the bench as we're going to drop the puck here on the final seconds of the game. Vegas now 40 seconds to go as they break out of their own zone. Coming in. And it's picked up by Carolina, who's going to lift it down. Vegas corrals that. And they're going to try again here. 25 seconds on the clock. And they're offside. They're going to have to come back out. Try again here. 17 seconds. One last-ditch effort. Never mind. And it's an icing call on Vegas. So, obviously, you have to assume Carter Hart's going to go back in net. It'd be very funny if they had a face-off in their own zone and they didn't put the goalie back in. That'd be funny. What an effort by the Carolina Hurricanes to give up that lead and fight back almost by chance with that falling goal from Jordan Staal. And from that moment, they have just been in the driver's seat. Vegas playing catch-up. So 14 seconds now with a face-off in the Vegas end. Carolina with possession as it comes back out. They're going to ring it around, and I think Vegas is going to surrender here. And there we have it, folks. 5-3, your final score. As the Carolina Hurricanes take Game 4 of the 2026 Stanley Cup Final. That's good stuff there. And we have a series. So we will at least see 6 games here in the finals. At least. I really think this one's going to 7, man. I don't know who's going to win it, but I think this one's going to 7. As the Hurricanes line up. Head pats for the goalie, Brandon Bussey, who comes in. Still no word on Frederik Andersen, hoping he's doing all right. But tonight, his team did not need him. I don't want to say it like that. Not that they didn't need him, but anyway, very exciting game here. Another unpredictable one in this great Stanley Cup Final. The series is tied now, 2-2. And we're going to head back to Raleigh on Thursday night for Game 5. And you know what? I'm going to decide here and now. We're doing another stream. Thursday night, Game 5. Another stream coming your way. I hope. I might end up working late Thursday night. I just realized that as the words exited my mouth. We shall see. Might be a late stream. Might be a third period stream. But at the very least, we'll get one going for Game 6, which I believe is on Sunday. Sunday the 14th. See what's going on in the chat, everybody. Yeah, I love big Carolina moment. Olivia says, I predicted 4-3 Carolina. No OT, close enough. Yeah, you were pretty close. You know, we don't count empty netters around here, man. We don't count empty netters. We'll say you predicted it correctly. Super Abby says, can't wait. Yeah, it's going to be good. Going to be good. I really enjoyed doing this. I hope you guys all enjoyed it as well. I'm going to wrap up here in a second as we're starting to lose some viewers here now that the game is over. 5-3 the final score. Carolina Hurricanes take Game 4. As I said, that guarantees us a Game 6, but I really think this one's going to 7. I think I could see Carolina. They got momentum on their side. They're going back into their barn on Thursday night for Game 5. I could see them taking that 3-2 series lead, and then back in Vegas. I think Vegas will take it for the winner-take-all Game 7 back in Raleigh. But we'll just have to wait and see. We will just have to wait and see. Good stuff. All right. I think that just about wraps it up. Yeah, I can see our viewers count ticking down again. Killer Green says, great live commentary. Do it again soon. I will. Don't you worry. I will. And you're going to get a lot more of this next season. Now that I know I can do it, now that I have the technology of it figured out, now that I know you guys want to see it, we're going to do this a lot more next season. And it's going to be a fun time. Going to be a very fun time indeed. But I think that's just going to wrap it up. I think that's going to just about wrap it up here. I'll let everyone enjoy the rest of their evening. Go celebrate that win, Hurricanes fans or Hurricanes bandwagoners, whoever you may be. This is going to be up on the channel as a VOD if you ever want to come back, relive some of these moments. And there's going to be a video coming at you guys after Game 5, where I recap Games 4 and 5. I might even do one for just this game and take some clips from this stream. We'll just have to wait and see, though. Schedule's all over the place. Personally, unfortunately, that's the biggest reason for my sporadic content, if you want to put it that way. The personal schedule is all over the place. I do what I can where I can, but definitely going to be a video coming out soon, going a little more in depth on this game once we get a few more stats back on it. And I am just so excited for the rest of this series, man. Like I said, I don't know how you can't watch this series. I don't know how you can watch this series and not be a hockey fan. This is incredible stuff. So exciting. And I just can't wait to see what the Canes and Golden Knights have in store for us going forward. But yeah, that's going to do it for this one. Thank you all very much for tuning in. Thanks for watching. I hope to see you all back next time. Tell your friends to come in next time. Tell your coworkers. Tell your family. Tell your dog. Set a Google account up for your dog and get your dog in here. I love dogs. And let's just make the next stream even better than this one. Let's make it a party, folks. And, I'll stop yapping for now, and I'll see you next stream. Take care, everybody.